It's a proprietary system that has helped over 100,000 people nationwide lose the weight, and many clients have seen major results without staying dependent on injections long term.
Hey, this is Dennis from 99.9 The Fan. Summer is ending, and now is the time to prioritize yourself. Get your confidence back and set your long-term health goals. Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Schedule your free 15-minute phone consultation with Raleigh Weight Loss Center and see if their program is right for you. Schedule today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's RitchieLaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
If you look at Ohio State and Oregon and Indiana, and then you take into consideration a Georgia and a Texas, throw in Notre Dame and Miami, I think that's your 7. And I think that other teams will jump up and make the college football playoff that are not in that 7, and other teams may win games in the college football playoff that are not in that 7. But again, you told me, based on roster and based on just overall caliber and talent, I would bet that the Final Four has those 7 teams.
I'm trying to do the math on that. Because the Final Four can't have 7 teams, right?
That wouldn't be the Final Four.
Let me check.
It's almost double.
I don't think you can have 7 teams in the Final Four. Hi, everyone. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am excited for today's show.
Yeah?
I'm always excited. And I would always tell people this. It doesn't matter. Like when you're not here, you never fall into this trap.
Right.
So sometimes Max fills in for you, right?
Sometimes, yes.
Every once in a while.
Yep.
Max will be like, there's really nothing to talk about. You can't tell people that.
No, you don't show that.
It doesn't matter if there's a lot to talk about or a little to talk about or even nothing.
There's always things to talk about.
It is my job to create the illusion that we will not be able to get to everything we could talk about today.
Yes.
That's my job.
Right.
To pretend at times, although today is not one of those days, to pretend at times that we have nothing to discuss.
Yeah. I mean, especially if
or
I'm here.
Everything to discuss. I blew that.
Because
I apologize.
I can make it real random sometimes. Like my 7th inning stretches might go, who knows where they might go. And then we're talking about Cheerios in the next hour. Like, who knows?
Too many. We remember, you had that story about Oreos.
Yes.
Right. With fried chicken Oreos? Is that what we had?
Yeah, it was like fried chicken and then butter.
Honestly,
buttery popcorn.
I just kind of threw up in my mouth a little
gross.
bit.
No. It's so gross. Why would you do that?
We have too many. Why would I? Well, it's just my reaction.
No, not you. Why would you make an Oreo that tastes like fried chicken? Why would you ruin that? Come on.
Yeah, it's gross. The only reason I thought of that was there are too many types of Cheerios.
Yeah, there are a lot.
So
there are a lot of Cheerios.
I mean, when I grew up, eventually we had Honey Nut,
which is by far my favorite.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I would say the best.
I could never understand why people ate regular Cheerios. Why would you do that?
No, I grew up where we had to have regular Cheerios, but then I would put like 8 pounds of sugar in it.
Cardboard in milk. Why would you do that?
You would have like this soupy sugar mixture at the bottom of the bowl.
Oh, it's good for you.
Right?
Regular Cheerios.
Good for your cholesterol.
It's bad. Yeah, it's great for your cholesterol because you don't eat it. Like, I can't eat that.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
But yes, Honey Nut Cheerios, chocolate Cheerios, whatever.
Yep.
They're a very overrated chocolate cereal.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the fake chocolate anyway. I wouldn't dabble in that. Nope.
Cocoa Pebbles was good.
Yeah, I'm more of the fruity side of things.
No, I prefer.
I don't need the dessert in my breakfast. Even though cinnamon rolls are desserty, but they're great breakfast. So.
Yeah, that's breakfast? A cinnamon roll?
I mean, they try to say that it's breakfast, but hey. I'll never turn down a good cinnamon roll.
Whoever invented Cinnabon.
Oh, evil.
I want you to be president.
You evil genius, you.
I would vote for you. I would vote.
Yes.
I don't care what your platform is.
Everybody gets free Cinnabons.
Cinnabon is ridiculous. Evan, my hand Monday is going to be a best of the Adam Gold Show.
Yes.
We kicked a few people to the curb that were worthy of the best of on Monday is going to be very good.
There's a lot of best of options. So
yes,
and
it's
little time.
We kicked a bunch of people to the curb for Monday of next week. Ton of stuff to get to, whether there are or not. You'll find out. Here we go. Let's get it started. So I thought I would start off with something fun. By the way, Ryan Henkel, Hockey News, covers the Hurricanes, is going to join us in hour 3 today. And the reason I texted Ryan to come on was something he had nothing to do with. I just want you to know that right off the bat. But I saw it in Hockey News. And I thought, let me talk to Ryan. So Hockey News is rolling out their list. It is a 1 or 2 every day of they're ranking all 32 teams based on off-season performance. Like, what did you do during the summer to strengthen your team to get ready for the upcoming season? And the Hurricanes were released today, and they ranked 16th. And I'm like, 16th? That's crazy. Because based on what the ranking is for, are you telling me that there are only 15 teams that did better to strengthen their team in the offseason than the Hurricanes? Like, remember what this is about. This is not these are the 32 best teams. We're ranking the best teams. We're ranking them based on what they did in the offseason. Like, Hurricanes should have been 30th. What did they do in the offseason? They signed Nick Delorier, who is only going to play if there are multiple injuries. I'm sure he'll play 15 or 20 games during the course of the season, but he's a character guy. Do we need an enforcer for this game? Yeah, let's dress Nick Delorier. Maybe he plays a little bit early in the season with Seth Jarvis being out of the lineup. I don't know, but my gosh, that's what they did. Frederick Anderson signed with Edmonton. Nobody else did anything. We still don't know what the status is with Alexander Nikishin. They didn't sign a veteran defenseman who will play. They didn't sign a veteran forward who will play in place of Jarvis. We're just rolling the team that won the Cup, minus Seth Jarvis, and minus Freddie Anderson, back. How is that 16th? Regardless, I'm not arguing. I guess I am. But it did bring, right in front of my eyes that the Hurricanes are taking last year's team, basically, and running it back. At least as we sit here right now. Do I think there will be some changes between, what is today, August 20th, and September 29th when we start the season? By the way, 1 month exactly from today is the first preseason game. That game is in Greensboro, right?
Yes, it is.
Today. And also today, single game tickets went on sale.
Oh.
Yes, at the Hurricanes box office, which doesn't really exist. You go to hurricanes.com. Anyway, so let me ask this question, and Victoria, I want your answer to this.
Okay.
Was last year in line with what we have seen? They happened to win.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it planets aligned? And Florida, of course, being decimated by injuries.
Of course. Well, that helps everything.
We have to throw that in.
Of course. No, they were absolutely on track for what happened last season.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the 8-9 seasons before.
Thank you. I think the biggest mistake everybody has made when we look at the Hurricanes, and it's very hard to repeat. We haven't, although in the NHL of late, we have had a fair number of repeat champions. Tampa won 2 in a row. Florida won 2 in a row. Pittsburgh in the mid-teens, 1-2 in a row. So it has been a more common occurrence there than basically anywhere else. But I think the mistake that people have made when they look at the Hurricanes is that they have, and this is how everything has been shaped about Carolina. Losing to Florida in the Eastern Conference Final 2 years ago. Losing to Florida in the Eastern Conference Final 4 years ago. Losing to the Rangers a year before the first one, a year and in between in the second round. It has been framed as Hurricanes failures. Meanwhile, they have been in the playoffs basically more successful than almost every other team in the league. It's hard to win. So I've never looked at them as failures. And you could accuse me of being an apologist all you want. I've just never looked at it as being a failure. Remember, Mets fan, I don't look at that Braves almost 20-year run and see anything other than, holy cow, what a great, dominant run it was. I know they only won World Series. I get it. But, man, every franchise would take that level of dominance. Every single one. Like it is in some ways boiled down to luck, give or take. Yeah, if you have the best team, you put yourself in position to win more often than not, but it also comes down to good fortune. And Carolina, the good fortune, health, great play at the right time, all of those things added up to Carolina winning the Stanley Cup a year ago, but it has been something that they have been building to. They were good enough to win the Cup in 22, lost to the Rangers second round. 23, lost to Florida in the conference finals. 24, lost to the Rangers in second round. 25, lost to Florida in the conference finals. They won it in 26. They were good enough. It just didn't work out for them in the postseason. So, to me, it isn't about, Mars and Saturn and Pluto were all in the perfect spot. Boom, 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 and the Hurricanes win a cup. But I will say that every team needs a little bit of a jolt of something different. And the one thing that the Hurricanes have not done is change anything really about this year's team. And I'm not saying they can't win because of it, but it is in my mind, it's a bit of a concern. I do think there will be a new piece somewhere between now and September 29th. I don't know where that new piece is going to be. I think there will be a new piece. And I'll say one more thing about this. I think Carolina has definite room for growth from within. I think you'll see better seasons start to finish from Jackson Blake, Logan Stankoven, Seth Jarvis when he finally plays, Sebastian Aho. I think you'll see a better season from him. I think you'll see a more complete season from Keandre Miller. I absolutely do. If Alexander Nikishin is here, and I hope he is, I think you'll see a much better season from him too. So, and by the way, maybe Pyotr Kochetkov is sort of new blood. I don't know, because he only played, 9 games last year? So I think Carolina's got, they have not reached their ceiling by any stretch of the imagination. So I am optimistic about the upcoming season. Let's talk about another Carolina. Tar Heels non-conference men's basketball schedule was released early. I think it was earlier today. In its entirety, it is completely put together. It is aggressive in year one of Michael Malone. Yes, there are a handful of games at the Smith Center that they will be significant favorites in. But there are 6 non-conference games played either on the road or at neutral sites that are daunting. I mean, I don't know how good USC is going to be, but they're playing this game in Greensboro to open the season on October 9th. They're playing Indiana in Indianapolis. They have Georgia coming to the Smith Center. They are playing West Virginia in Charlotte. They are hosting Arkansas. John Calipari is Arkansas in the SEC ACC Challenge. They are playing away to Georgetown. I don't know if Georgetown's great, but they are playing at Georgetown. The NC State non-conference game in Greensboro. Kentucky at Madison Square Garden. Illinois in Nashville, I believe, in late January. It's a pretty good non-conference schedule in year one for Michael Malone. The roster is, look, there's so much new. So much new. It'll be interesting to see how he brings it all together. I give him maybe a better chance than most, simply because he's new, so there are no preconceived notions at all. And he's probably also a little bit more used to slapping things together kind of on the fly, especially when you've been a coach in the NBA. I'm not going to say for as long as he's been a coach, but you go through especially with a team in transition, you go through a fair amount of roster overturn in the NBA. Although he does not have Nikola Jokic, and that is, I don't think they have Nikola Jokic. Although the NCAA has some, they lose in court a lot. If Nikola Jokic sued to get college eligibility, he might win. The NCAA lost another one in court yesterday. I think this one was in Louisiana. And this one really blurs the lines of who can return to school. So, and again, they've lost so many times in court, and this is, I think, was more about football. There will be players who have been in NFL training camps. Remember, not drafted or signed to NFL contracts, but players who were in NFL training camps who will be allowed, if they choose, to come back and play college football based on a court's decision. And look, you can't follow it. You can't follow all the lawsuits the NCAA has lost. It's impossible. But at the time when they announced their decision to go to 5 active seasons in 5 years, in a 5-year span, setting sort of an age limit. It's 24 years old or 5 years after your high school class graduates, whichever is sooner. So it's basically, we're not going to have 25 or 26-year-olds in playing college football or college basketball or any other college sport. But when they didn't grandfather in the 2022 class, I said at the time, A, mistake, B, opening yourself up for lawsuits. Now, I did not believe that it would cause the whole house of cards to collapse, but it looks like that's what's going to happen. Like, I can't even, I do think that based on the most recent court ruling, you could see people who have played professionally in the U.S., legitimately, come back and play in college. And it's silly. Whether we all know that sometimes the law and common sense don't work. Like they work against each other. I kind of think that's what's going to happen here. But, man, the NCAA has opened themselves up for that. And I shouldn't say we all, they clearly didn't. But if I saw it coming, it ain't that unique. It just is not that unique. All right. I want to spend a couple of minutes on this. I know I've talked about this maybe too much, but we have sound from yesterday that you have to hear. So, there have been rumors, there have been legitimate news reporting that Live Golf will cease to exist after this season. I still think that they're going to try and regenerate another year. We'll see how long it lasts, how many players stay. But working from the assumption at the PGA Tour's second playoff event in St. Louis, which started today, Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy were on the in the interview room, and you can hear one soundbite from each. Scotty Scheffler went first, and with the speculation that Jon Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, Joaquin Niemann, Bryson DeChambeau, and others would be essentially players without a tour. The question for Scotty was about, how he would feel about those players and players similar to them coming back to the PGA Tour. And here is Scotty Scheffler being or answering the question, would he be welcome?
Yeah, I think, like when we talk about the best players, LIV has a few players that are really good. I think the depth that we have on our tour is a bit unmatched, but I think when you look at the higher levels of LIV golf, there's definitely some players that would provide, a lot of value to the tour, and guys that I love competing against as well. And so I think going forward, there obviously has to be, I think, some sort of penalties. What those are, I'll let Roll-Up and all those guys figure it out. We have great leadership within the tour now, but I think having those guys come back and competing with whatever happens with LIV, whether those guys want to leave or, you got to ask them. But I think for me, being able to compete against the best players in the world, there's certainly some guys on that tour that can compete out here. And, I look forward to the chance to compete with them more often.
All right. Now, Scotty's right. It would be great to compete week in, week out on the PGA Tour with Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Tyrrell Hatton, Joaquin Niemann, Cam Smith. There are great players on LIV. Nobody's ever said that there weren't great players on LIV. In fact, everybody on that tour, to varying degrees, is great. Everybody who plays professional golf is unbelievable. If I told you that, let's just say you, the person listening right now, if you're still listening, is a single-digit handicap. You're a pretty good golfer. You go out, shoot around 80 most of the time. Some days you're at like 78, 84, 85. You're probably in the top 5% of golfers on the planet. Okay? Those guys, Scotty was talking about it the other day, he plays to a +7 when he plays at his home course, which means if you're a scratch golfer, okay, scratch means a 0 handicap, Scotty is giving you 7 shots in a round. He plays to a +7 at home. There are good players he plays with where he gives 20 shots. So on, 2 holes, he gives 2. Insanity. So those players would make the PGA Tour more competitive. Rahm can win. DeChambeau can win. Niemann can win. Smith can win. Like, these guys are champions, right? That question was asked slightly differently to Rory McIlroy. The question was about adding value to the PGA Tour. Here's Rory. Okay.
Wow.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Now, was that a rude answer? Yes, it was rude. It was harsh. You could argue it was an unnecessary place for Rory McIlroy to go. If you want to say that, that's fine, because you're right. But was he wrong? And the answer is no, he was not wrong. Because when you ask about adding value, you're talking about adding, the way the question is phrased to me, you're talking about adding eyeballs. What adds eyeballs, and indirectly they do, it adds competition. But the way Rory answered it, he wasn't wrong. Because if those guys had great value, LIV would not have gotten the lack of traction that it did. Forget about the business model. People were not tuning in on TV. The last couple of years, they have been on over-the-air television. They've been on either Fox or the CW, granted, non-traditional places to watch golf. But I keep hearing about how everybody's on YouTube. They've been on YouTube for their entire existence. People were not tuning in. Not in enough numbers to maybe impress other networks that they should pay LIV to show their tournaments. It was more of a timeshare on Fox. So there wasn't enough of a market intrusion by LIV to create money coming in from television. A lot of the other things were okay about LIV. I've watched plenty of LIV. I love the broadcast production of it. I thought they did a very good job. Commentary is no golf commentary is any good, to be honest. The networks that show the PGA Tour and the networks wherever the LIV broadcast, the commentary is no good. But that's neither here nor there. But it wasn't gaining traction. So Rory's response, which was, are they bringing value to LIV, was obviously not enough. And again, it was pretty rude, but I don't think he was. I mean,
it's very on brand for Rory too. I feel
it, especially about this subject, and especially this year, because Rory has had a short. He's had no time for. He has no blanks to give anymore either, and he doesn't care about the ramifications. Like, if you want to push back, Rory does not care. He just doesn't. But again, they were asked different questions. It is being shaped as a, see what Scotty is? See, this is what Rory is. I'm like, nope, they were asked different questions. That's all. I found Rory, I went, wow. Holy cow. Yeah. So, whatever. It is what it is. I was entertained by it all. Rude. Yeah. Unnecessary, probably, but he wasn't wrong. All right, Julian Council, who was neither rude nor unnecessary and very often correct, will join us to talk about the Panthers next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks from training camp as the regular season approaches. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
With over $110 million in total prizes, new scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery are dazzling the crowd. Get quick wins from Hit 50, Cash, Loteria Grande, and The Star. Massive cash blowout, bursting with $150, $300, and $3,000 prizes. Play and watch your luck shine. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win range from 1 in 3.86 to 9.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Nobody beats a fairway green lawn. Kevin, what can fairway green do this time of the year for our yards?
Yes, many people do not realize that fall is the time to seed your fescue, not in the spring. Fall is the time to go ahead and get out there and do a core aeration seeding. Go ahead and put down a good quality fertilizer at the same time.
How can we get started right away?
Yes, visit fairwaygreen.com. We'll be out there within 3 to 4 business days. We'll leave a very detailed lawn analysis that I'm sure you'll be quite impressed with.
Great. You can also call Fairway Green 919-329-0095.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
It's bow time. We think a chicken sandwich this good should speak for itself. But when you're talking juicy, hand-breaded, and boldly seasoned chicken breasts, piled up with thick-cut pickles and creamy mayo all on a buttery toasted bun, well, we are happy to say it again and again and again. Bo's Chicken Sandwich, only at Bojangles. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich craving. With Bojangles sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a combo and add your choice of a side and Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? It's bow time.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. We do it all. In fact, we see patients within 48 hours for everything from sports injuries, spine care, and joint replacement to minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, pediatrics, and more. Visit us today at wakemed.org and get back your life.
This is Adam Gold.
Well, if I'm watching the Panthers game and it's going real bad, many times it does.
I punish them by not watching
I'm
them.
a disappointed mother.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I realize it's not going to change the game, but it makes me feel better. And,
There were other factors at play there, but for the most part, I punish them. I will not watch you.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars tomorrow night. That'll be preseason game number 3 for them. Preseason game number 1 went well. That was really the Haynes King show. Preseason game number 2 went the opposite of well, unless you're a Buffalo Bills fan, in which case no punts. That would be alarming. Preseason game number 3, we will see. We know we will see the starters for at least a couple of series. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast. My friend joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Look, what are your thoughts? Is there anything that worried you coming out of that game Saturday afternoon?
What worried me is the possibility of not having Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt out there at any point this season, and that Chandler Zavala and Brady Christensen would have to step in at guard. Now, the main concern would be, unfortunately, Chandler Zavala. Brady Christensen, who's coming off an Achilles tear, I suppose there's a concern there, but he's been a solid offensive lineman for Carolina. Zavala has never been a reliable player for this organization in his first 3 years, and it looks like heading into year 4 here, he has not improved to the point where you can rely on him. So that would be my only concerning factor. I think a lot of the way people acted after Saturday was a little over the top. $150 million of offensive guard talent wasn't out there for you. So, yeah, the offense is going to look a lot less functional. Now, the fact that it wasn't functional at all, that is a concern because you would like to have depth. But I think all it really did was confirm my suspicions already that the interior offensive line depth was going to be a massive concern, and we saw that play out on Saturday afternoon, and I don't really think that's going to change.
Yeah, it took me back to the season before they signed Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, in which case the middle of their offensive line was continuously getting caved in. and that's what happened, which leads to, well, we can't really do well on first down, although, I mean, they had a couple of good plays on first down. They put themselves, I thought, in advantageous spots at times, but didn't take advantage of them, mostly because the offensive line broke down. And yeah, their lack of depth, and it's concerning for me because Robert Hunt only played 2 games last year, and in year one, I think, or the year before he came to Carolina, he missed almost half the season with Miami. So if he's not there, it better be Brady Christensen or Ike Ekwonu is available maybe to slide inside.
Yeah, I just don't know how, if Hunt's out, they can go to Zavala. Now, Brady has been repping at that right guard spot. We already know that Brady Christensen, who's played every position in Carolina since he's been here and got drafted, we know that he can play left tackle. We know he can play left guard, play center, right guard. He's been the guy who fills in at right guard while Chandler Zavala has been at left guard. Apparently he's taking even snaps at center as they try to figure out what they have, because I don't think they really have a great option behind Luke Fortner, who didn't play well at all, the Panthers starting center on Saturday. So they're trying to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, Rob Hunt, there was conversation when the Panthers did sign him to that $100 million deal that he had been injured and whether he could be durable. And we have seen him be able to play 16 games his first season. And then last year played those 2 regular season games, did not finish the second one against Cardinals in week 2. And of course came back to that the playoff game. And even in that, he had a situation where he told us after the game that he felt that he might have hurt his pec. So, yeah, man, like if Rob Hunt can't hang all season long, and if you lose Damian Lewis for any period of time, which he's been the one who's been durable for them, especially, like you're in a really bad spot with that offensive line.
Yeah, and if your offensive line is no good, it's almost impossible for your offense to be competent at all. Before I head over to defense, I know there's been a lot written lately about Felipe Franks because of his special teams ability. He's made some plays in the passing game as well at tight end. Does this and the presence of Darren Waller, if you were JT Sanders, would you be worried?
Yes, you should be very worried. The fact that he's heading into his 3rd season, and the Panthers felt like at this point in time after a few weeks of camp, because when injuries happen like Nick Scorton, people are like, oh, well, you got to go out there and get somebody immediately. Well, no, you get into training camp, you want to continue to evaluate what you have on your roster. You had OTAs and mandatory minicamp in the spring, but really once you get to camps when you want to start really going through install and figuring out what you have. And the Panthers looked at what they had at tight end, and they felt good about Tommy Trimble. They felt good about Mitchell Evans. They did not feel good enough about JT Sanders to where they decided to call up Darren Waller, who told us flat out on Monday when he was asked if he was surprised that it took this long for him to get signed. He's like, no, I'm 34, and there were durability questions, rightfully so. Like, those were his words, rightfully so. People question his durability. So it's a little odd to me that the Panthers would look at JT Sanders, who is a guy they drafted 2 years ago in the 4th round, who has, yes, had injury issues. It's interesting to me that they would go and bring in another player at his position who's older, who also has durability concerns, and I would think is probably more likely to get injured this season than Sanders would at his age. So I think he should be concerned. And at this point in time, like I asked Aaron, like, so what's the role that they told you would have? And he said you can't have a role until you actually go out there and you practice. Well, he's not going to practice until Monday.
Right.
And then after that, they have joint practice on Wednesday with Houston. And then, like, is he going to play in the game next Friday night? I would think probably not. Nope. So, to me, like, I feel like he's got to be on the roster at this point in time, because if you brought him in this late, knowing that he wouldn't play this week and he probably won't do much next week, then he has a roster spot, right? And they've only kept 4 tight ends the last couple of years, which would mean to me that JT Sanders' days are numbered, even though it's still strange that they'd bring in Waller at this point with his own concerns and prefer him over a player in JT Sanders, who they're still trying to figure out what they have in him.
Yeah, like, to me, if Waller has a good joint practice, I mean, he would have to have a disastrous joint practice next week against Houston or get hurt to not be on the roster. That's the way I would have to look at it. All right, if you were better way to ask this question, Julian, as I'm tongue-tied here, give me your 6 wide receivers on the roster. I know the first 3. are going to be Tetero McMillan, Xavier Leggett, and Jalen Coker, I would assume. Give me your next 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, well, when David Moore is not on the Panthers roster, that will be news. So he's up there as the 4th one. They could cut him and then bring him back. He's not going to play anywhere else other than Carolina, so they do have that flexibility, but I think he makes the roster. Then I would have Jimmy Horn Jr. up there, considering that he has earned a spot as the second-team kickoff return and punt returner. Maybe he'll have a bigger role than he had last year, where he had no role at all in special teams in the return game. And then I'd have Bryson Tremaine. I mean, he's somebody who Tracy Smith, the special teams coordinator, mentioned a couple weeks ago when we spoke to him, that he is a very key player on special teams. I think that he's also very helpful in run blocking. He's been around, developmental kind of guy. I think he makes it. Jassim Reed, the fact that he's dealing with a calf injury right now and that he's not really a returner, that makes it difficult for me to see him making the team, because if you're going to be the 6th wide receiver, you darn well better be able to play special teams.
Right.
And he's not really in that realm of the units. Now, I have to pay more attention to coverage units and all that, but I think he's the odd man out at this point in time, and the injury is certainly poorly timed for him, because he was not out there on Monday, was not out there yesterday. I'm guessing he's probably not going to be out there on Friday. We'll have to wait and see.
Right.
But those would be my 6. Of course, the obvious 3, T-Mac, Coker, XL. Then I'm going David Moore, Jimmy Horn Jr., and Bryson Tremaine.
I mean, I know this is harsh, but I mean, I don't see why David Moore is still part of this mix. But I mean, I could be wrong.
You got to have an old guy in the room, Adam.
Do you?
He's an old guy.
Do you have to have an old guy in the room? I don't know. I'm still not sure they have an embarrassment of riches. I've heard that phrase used to describe the Panthers wide receiver room. I'm not sure that's accurate.
Who said that?
I don't know. I was watching some or listening to some show. It wasn't yours. I know you would not have said that. And I apologize for listening to other people, Julian. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Any concerns on the defensive side of the ball? And I say that having just watched Buffalo not punt in a preseason game.
Yeah, I brought that up several times this week. I don't think, I only watch Panther preseason games. I'm not watching anybody else, but that felt like a first as far as not forcing a punt, especially with the way Buffalo's third stringers had so much ease getting down the field to score in the fourth quarter. It's like, guys, offer any level of resistance, please. Yeah, defensive concerns. I mean, I feel fine about the secondary. If Will Lee can be a guy on the outside that allows him to play JC in the slot in like a Jalen Ramsey type of role, I think that's huge for this team. Not concerned about Javon Merrick or Nick Scott in the back end. Now, what has been intriguing to me during this linebacker competition, because I guess that's a concern, that they're heading into year 3. This 2024 draft class, man, XL hasn't done much. Jonathan Brooks, of course, hasn't played because of injury. Trevor Wallace is in a competition with a guy who the Jets didn't want once upon a time. And I like Claude. He's a nice guy. He seemed, decent enough player in the role he's played the last couple of years, but he's competing right now to be your starting linebacker.
He's a squad player. That's all he is.
Yeah, I mean, Shawsmith Wade looks like he's probably fine at nickel if Will Lee's not good to go. But that is, Jaden Crody's gone. Michael Barrett probably the best pick they had because he landed them Mike Jackson with that trade with Seattle. So yeah, I think linebacker's probably concerned. I did see recently, and they didn't do this during the game on Saturday, but Javon Merrick has actually been playing a little bit of linebacker with Lathan Ransom back at safety. And if you want to find your best combination of talent and production, that may be it with Merrick, who's not great in coverage, with him playing linebacker and then having Ransom, if they think he's ready, back alongside Nick Scott, then having JC either in the slot or on the outside, depending upon whether Will Lee's ready to go or if they feel better about Shawsmith Wade there at nickel until that time comes. So maybe that would be a concern linebacker, just D tackle depth. They don't know where Turk Warden's at.
Right.
If you care about PFF, Bobby Brown III had the lowest rating of anybody on the team on Saturday. That's not ideal for a high-priced free agent from last year, which, I mean, if you look deeper, Dan Morgan's first draft class in 2024, granted, he took the job back in January. Those are not his scouts, but he was here in the building. Has not looked good. He signs Turk. He signs Bobby. They haven't really been all that great either. So there's a little things you look at, Dan, as far as team building that you like as far as the money spent on the offensive line, defensive line, but he's maybe kind of missed on a couple of these guys. The edge rushers, like one of them wasn't great for him. I know he had the blood clots, and then Pat Jones missed last year, which, okay, you didn't know that was going to happen. So, just raising an eyebrow a little bit. Not saying Dan's doing a bad job. Obviously, he's done a good job. They got to the playoffs last year. Just a few areas where I think they've missed, where if they had not missed, they'd be in a much better situation than they're in right now. But, that's football.
Yeah, I asked this question yesterday sort of rhetorically, and I'll ask you this as we go away. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast. Should they have drafted Peyton Wilson at linebacker instead of Tim Wells?
Is he doing well? Again, dude, I think outside of the Panthers, I'm really not that plugged in. I go to a game, I can't watch the rest of the games going on. And then the days I'm at home watching the road games, I'm trying to, not watch that much. And plus, Pittsburgh plays at like 1 o'clock, so I don't ever see Steelers games. Is he playing well?
He had 2 good years. I don't know. I've only watched 2 preseason games. The greatest one I've ever seen, the Hall of Fame game this year.
Yeah.
And the game against Buffalo, in which their defense was a sieve. So
let me say this then. I'll answer your question. I'll say probably not. If anything, they probably should have looked at a linebacker this year, considering the depth and talent that allegedly is there from this past year's linebacker class. What they end up doing and actually when they play, we'll find out. Would have loved to have seen them. Chris Brazzell, fine pick, I guess, but I don't know. I would have loved to have seen them address maybe linebacker instead, night 2. I can't complain about Lee Hunter. If you listen to Dan Morgan, he's talked about they're going to build up front. So going with Freeling and Hunter in the first 2 picks, isn't that surprising when you think back to all the things that he said. I think I would look more, why not take a linebacker this year, especially if you're going to have Claude Trails come back and be the competition for Trevor Wallace. Why do that instead of getting one now? So hard for me to say that they made a mistake not drafting Peyton Wilson because, again, I don't really watch so much Pittsburgh Steelers and have no idea what he's been doing at Pittsburgh.
All right, I'll just give you his tackles from last year. Combined 126, 74 solo. The year before, yeah, that's pretty good. So
he was a damn good player at State, man.
Yeah. He just has.
I know he's come to Chapel Hill once upon a time. He said, "No, I'm not doing that." But he was, and there was the concerns about the knee. Look,
all sorts of injuries, knee and shoulder.
Yeah, the reality of the league is most of these guys are not going to be around after 4 years anyway. So if teams are like, "Oh well, he's got an arthritic knee, he's got no cartilage left in his knee, he's not going to be able to sign a second contract," it's like, well, he's going to give you 4 good years, and that's 4 good years. So.
Who cares about the second contract? The average length of a NFL career is not even 3 years anymore. So I would never worry about the second contract. Julian Council, for you, I would. Locked On Panthers podcast at Julian Council on Twitter. Thank you very much, my friend. I will talk to you down the road.
Yeah, anytime, Adam. Take care. Enjoy the game tomorrow night.
Thank you very much. All right, Julian Council here on the Adam Gold Show. When we come back, one-timers, you ask the questions, I've got the answers next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Rechargeable batteries are in so many items we use every day, like our mobile phones, smartwatches, even electric toothbrushes. But did you know that devices with these batteries should not be thrown in the trash or recycling bins? They can cause fires in garbage trucks and recycling facilities. But it's easy to dispose of these devices correctly. Simply go to batterysafe.nc.gov to learn more and find your closest drop-off location. That's batterysafe.nc.gov. Remember, skip the bin, turn your batteries in.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Gear up this fall with the new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. And a fast charge time of just 10 minutes means it's ready when you are. The All-Pro battery is just the upgrade your shed has been waiting for. Outperform the outdoors with battery tools by Steel. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power. Comparison between AP300PC and AP300S. 10-minute charge time to reach 80% with AL1602MO.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're looking at issues that affect families in every corner of North Carolina. Maternal health. My guest is Marissa Franks from the North Carolina Healthcare Foundation, who shares information about the Maternal Health Action Network.
No single hospital or organization can solve maternal mortality alone. It takes all of us in healthcare and in our communities to do that. But by sharing knowledge, listening to patients, partnering with communities, addressing barriers to care, and implementing proven practices, we can make a real difference. So I think our work demonstrates what's possible when healthcare organizations come together around a common goal, which is helping every mother and baby have the healthiest possible start.
You can learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Coming up at the top of the hour, very interesting article at highschoolot.com about a high-profile athlete who went to Gardner High School, or goes to Gardner High School, A.J. Randall, who has committed to the University of Miami, whose mother was a decorated track and field star at Clemson, in the Clemson Hall of Fame, and how they went about the process of choosing an agent and other people to help with NIL and finances when he's in college. So we will talk with Nikkie Bouyer-Randle. She will join us coming up at the top of the next hour. I'm fascinated by this story. Again, highschoolot.com. Our friend Tom Shanahan wrote it, and we will talk with the subject, Nikkie Bouyer-Randle, at the top of the next hour. Right now, one-timers.
Okay, first up from our YouTube stream in the chat, Stormy wants to know, with Jarvis out until Christmas and Eric Robinson possibly out to start the season, who do you see filling those vacant slots in the Canes lineup?
Well, I think Robinson will be back. I think he should be back by training camp. I don't think there's any question about that. If he's not, then that would probably be a Nick Delorier thing, right? And without Jarvis, like there's a lot of different ways you could do it. Personally, I think you're going to see Nick Ehlers play up into a top 6 role. And maybe Will Carrier goes back with Stahl and Martinook to form that checking line of sorts. And if it opens up, if Robinson is not back, and then there are 2 spots open. Again, I've been saying all along, I would rather have a veteran than count on one of the rookies. But I also think that one of the rookies, whether it's Bradley Nadeau or Felix Ungersorum, I'm not going to throw dirt on Justin Robidas at this point. We'll see what training camp holds. Only 4 preseason games. My guess is that Ungersorum and Nadeau get all 4 to try to make an impression. And if not, maybe there's a trade. I don't know. But that's my guess. I assume Alexander Nikishin will be in camp. If not, maybe they've made a trade. I don't know.
So next up from our friend Comebread, this came from our random Cheerios conversation to start the show, but he said, Do you remember the pot lickers at the state fair where it was chocolate covered bacon on a stick?
I've seen chocolate covered bacon.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to, I've never tried it. I'm not opposed to it because I love bacon.
Well, I like bacon too. See, we once had an overrated draft.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My first pick was Beyonce.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like Beyonce.
Right.
But
the
no.
Beehive's going to come at you.
Right. It's the Bayhive. It's not even the Beehive. It's the Bayhive. And bacon was my second pick. Again, it's not that I don't love bacon. I love bacon. Yeah, it's not.
Right.
Never mind.
And it's National Bacon Day, too.
I think
today.
It's also National Radio Day.
It is National Radio Day.
So,
I know.
Hi.
From the radio.
From the radio.
Also on YouTube.
Yes, right. Yeah, right.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
He scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Football is back. NFL preseason is back, and the excitement is there. The Panthers looked great in the Hall of Fame preseason game. Haynes King was electric. They got the win. Everybody celebrated. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Kenny Pickett is still the backup quarterback. It's still Bryce Young's team. Haynes King can be a nice piece.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Your team deserves better than a boring holiday party.
Rush Hour Karting has high-speed racing, axe throwing, scratch-made food, private rooms, and more. Everything you need, one destination. And right now, you can save up to 30% when you book by August 31st. The bigger the event, the bigger the savings. Book it, pay the deposit, party when you want.
Does not apply to currently booked events. Minimum purchase requirements.
Rush Hour Karting, 20 years of serious adult fun. RHKFun.com.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where he can get a battery for under $100. Lonnie, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Lonnie does that for free too. In no time at all, John is back on the road. Ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, let's paint the scenario here. I need windows. But, man, I don't have 3 hours to go through the process of deciding what I need, when I need it. Can you help at the Aluminum Company?
Absolutely. So, first of all, when we come out to your house to look at your windows, typical window appointment may last 45 minutes, an hour. We're certainly not going to make a 4 or 5 hour commitment to talk about windows. We're there to help.
Serve dinner last time.
Right. Listen, my wife always says, I talk to my wife all the time. We have salespeople, whatever we're doing. And my wife, I tell her all the time, I can't stand salespeople. And she laughs. She's like, you are a salesperson. I'm like, well, the difference is I'm just having a conversation trying to help people get what they want. I'm not there to pressure you. I'm just there to help you get in and out. And it's a pretty quick appointment. It's pretty efficient. So we're there to help you and make it quick.
I can vouch for that. The Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online at aluminumcompany.com.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
One thing he could do is go to the DP World Tour, finish in the top 10 that way, and earn his status back. I think the pathway that Brooks Koepka took, turning member program, it was called, that was originally off, and he declined to take that route. So I think for those guys, the most likely route would be to do the Patrick Reed thing, which is to not play a Live Golf Tour event for a year, and then you get that eligibility back through the DP World Tour and come back in time for the PGA Tour for 2028.
A.J. Randall is a 4-star recruit in football. He's going to the University of Miami. Glad to see that a Garner High School soon-to-be grad will keep it at least in the conference. Nikkie Bouyer-Randle is his mother, and she has been charged with a lot in this day and age of NIL and everything that goes along with being a top-level high school, college recruit, and she joins us on the Adam Gold Show. You're in the Hall of Fame, by the way, at Clemson for track and field and all of your exploits down there at the university. Did anything in the recruiting process that your son went through, it's obviously not going to be the same because it's track and field versus football, did anything in the recruiting process bring you back to your time when you made your decisions?
Well, the campus visits, they're pretty much the same as far as, the staff and how they're really warm, and they plan these things and they set them up to try to give the athlete a very pleasant and great experience. So that was very similar.
All right. Yeah. Well, were you wined and dined by Clemson back in the day?
Yes, sir. I actually was.
Good.
They were whining and dining back in the 90s.
I see, you say back in the 90s, and you make me feel so old. Nikkie Bouyer-Randle is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, now walk me through your first realization that this was going to be about more than football, than playing time, than education. When you first realized, oh my gosh, this is way more involved than I ever expected.
Well, pretty much right from the beginning, because, social media today doesn't allow us to be ignorant. Right. So we knew it was going to be different. I have a daughter also who is at Kansas, and so I just went through the recruiting process right prior to the rule changing for NIL with her, and it was already, the schools were already preparing for it because technically the ruling had already come out, but they were in court with some holdups about how it was logistically was going to be handed out. So schools were already prepping even, 3 and 4 years ago for this process. So I got to see a little bit of it with her on her recruiting process. But yeah, once all the rulings were clear, the floodgates just opened up with AJ this past year. I guess one of the things that I I knew up front, or what I learned very quickly on, is that, with the money being involved now, an agent was going to be important.
Right.
A financial advisor was going to be important. And the landscape of just recruiting, was changing, because now for the first time I'm meeting GMs, and that had never happened. I didn't even have a GM when I was at Clemson.
Right.
The buck stopped with the athletic director, and that was it. So,
Yeah.
So there's a new position now at the university, and it's an important one, and they have a lot of, they're in charge to some extent. So, those are just some of the nuances that have come about just in this past year.
There's a great article, I've mentioned it before earlier today, at highschoolot.com about the whole process, where you really need a whole team of people, because there are areas of expertise. You just mentioned a few, right? So how do you go about the business? It's not one person that handles all of these things, correct?
Correct. So, I suggest you get these people in place prior to needing them. So currently he doesn't need a financial advisor because he hasn't signed his letter of intent. There's been no money transferring yet. So therefore, but you need to have that person ready to go. You do need, I suggest, in my opinion, that having some type of NIL agent help negotiate with you and for you is very important, because they understand the landscape. Now, I basically went through this process with my agent. I worked alongside of them, which was easy for me because I am a former athlete, and
right.
I had a lot of understanding of the basics of the landscape. So I was kind of building on to knowledge. I wasn't starting fresh, naive with no knowledge at all. And then also my oldest son, he played in the NFL, AJ's older brother. Mm-hmm. So a lot of his constituents that he played against or he played with, they're moving into the coaching world now. So it was very interesting as we were traveling to the different schools to participate in their game day programs or their recruiting day programs. How many people my oldest son, Brandon, actually knew. He either knew a scout or an assistant coach or somebody on that team who'd either coached him or he had played with or played against. So that made the process a lot easier, too, because, relationships are important. When you know somebody in the room,
right,
you get treated differently. And so I will say that also helps. Now, I realize, though, that my experience, because some of the coaches in the room I knew, also because, like even say, for instance, like Miami, the head track coach at Miami, Amy Deems, her first year coaching was my junior year at Clemson. I remember her. And
right.
She remembers me as an athlete. So just even that, having that relationship. So there were still, even around some of the relationships that I even still had with individuals at different universities.
Nikkie Bouyer-Randle is the mother of AJ Randle, and he's headed to Miami. You haven't signed the letter of intent yet. So, it's a whole wild, crazy world out there. I hope all the plans that you have already made, that he has already made, I hope they all get to the finish line, because in this world of upheaval, we have no idea what's going to happen. But I am curious about this element. And this is really maybe the opinion of a mother. We all know that colleges have made, billions of dollars on the backs of the athletes. And I don't want it to make it seem overly harsh, but it kind of is. Is ultimately this good? Your son's going to be 17 years old when he goes away to Miami, which is why in the article you're going to go stay with him for the first 4 months, basically for his first semester. Is it ultimately good for these kids, because some of them are kids, not even legal adults yet, to be thrown into this world, unless your son AJ is fortunate that you have spent the life of as a college athlete. You understand this. That there are a lot of kids that don't have that. My parents were not athletes. If I was an athlete, it would be pretty difficult. So, is it ultimately good for the kids?
Well, I'm going to say yes, it is. Good for the kids. For a lot of these young people, this is life-changing. It's life-changing in finances. It's life-changing in lifestyle. It's life-changing, in experience. It's just, across the board, life-changing. So, yes, I'm going to say it's good. However, anything that, whenever you have some type of upgrade of some sort, there's also a responsibility that comes with that. And I feel like that's where the agents come in. Again, I am myself now. I've decided that I'm going to start helping parents navigate this process. Like you said, parents like your parents who would not have had the experience and don't really know where to start, helping them know, like just taking it step by step and helping them understand the process so that their student athlete can get the best opportunity for themselves, and they're not leaving great options on the table for the lack of knowledge. So I think that it is a good thing for the students. I just think that parents have to be smart. You still have to be parents.
Right.
You got to be smart, and you got to make some really good choices for your kids as they're going through this process. And so that's why I'm saying we have a financial advisor who's on hold, but they know that they're our financial advisor. And we currently already have our agent. He helped us with this initial deal, and we have signed on with him through the collegiate experience. And me as mom, I have, of course, signed on, to cover him until he's 18 years of age, and so I'm not going to renege on my end of the bargain either.
Right.
So I am making plans in my life to be able to go and be with him so that he can have this opportunity, but so that I can still be present and still continue to be his mom until he is legally grown. And so it's about planning. Everything is about planning. And if you plan it, it's seamless, it works easier, and the child then can have this huge, grand opportunity with the parameters and the responsibility needed in place.
My guess is that your responsibility will not end when he turns 18. And even when you come back and leave him at Miami, that's going to be, look, I'm envious of, in many ways, what AJ is walking into, not from a financial standpoint, but from a guidance standpoint. You seem to have everything buttoned down. Again, I think the fact that you have gone through it certainly helps. So really, final question, how hard was it to choose these people, because they are going to have influence as well over your son's, at least the early stages of his life as almost a professional athlete, earning money to play a sport. How hard was it to kind of sift through all of these people in order to choose these agents?
So if your kid is good and making any traction with their high school team, you don't have to find the agents. They are finding you.
Right.
Okay? That's the first thing. So because of that, we tell the kids, make their Twitter accounts, put your phone number up there so coaches can find you, but it's also an avenue for agents to find you.
Yes.
So step number one, if an agent contacts your child through Twitter, through Instagram, you immediately teach your child that the agents need to come to the parents. Tell the child to give the agents the parent number. Do not allow your child to speak to an agent before the agent has talked to you. So they're going to find the child first, because the child is out there on Twitter looking for colleges to find them. But they need to learn to redirect those agents to their parents. So that's the first step. Because the agents are really good some of them are really good at their job, and they get the kids all hyped up about everything, and then your kid comes to you like, oh, I really want to work with this guy, but you haven't vetted that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, or a girl. It could be a girl too, because I'm a girl and I'm in this space.
Yes, you are.
So, that's the first rule. Send agents to parents. And then as a parent, you talk to the agent. I mean, you have the life experience. Whether you know much about NIL or not, you know about life. Yeah. And so sometimes you just need to vet a person based on them and their character. Talk to them about things that would matter if it was a friend you were trying to create on a job. So you might not know a lot about sports, but you could ask, are you married? Do you have kids? What are your kids doing in life? Like I can sit here and tell you, I've got 3 children. They all are about to be collegiate athletes with full ride scholarships. I haven't had to pay a dime for college because I did Little League and Pop Warner and all these things leading up to make sure sure that they could be in this space. My children are also straight A students. If your agent can tell you those types of things, then you know, okay, you're dealing with somebody who has not only looking to help your young person, but they also in their own family have upgraded their young people or, raised their young people to be productive adults in our society. So sometimes if you don't have the athletic background, just vet a person the way you would vet anybody who you were looking to be in your friend space. Because at the end of the day, your agent becomes part of your family.
Right.
And that's real talk. As the months go on and they're negotiating for your kid, your agent's going to become part of your family. So make sure this is a person that you don't mind being a part of your family. And, that's my best advice. Also educate yourself. The things you don't know about the sports or when your agent is telling you something, fact check it. AI is a beautiful thing. You can fact check the agent when they're telling you something. Just go look, and don't get caught up in these grandiose plans or pipe dreams sometimes they're selling you. The simpler the better. The simpler the better, I think, because really this process, you don't have to be sold. The money's out there. Yeah. You don't have to be sold some grand picture. So the more basic and the more scaled down it is, I think the easier it is for you to understand it. And I say that that's safer. And then these rates, be careful with the rates. Again, use AI. What is standard? 3 to 5%. That's a standard thing. NFL, I think, works with 3%, but of course, that's because they have some perimeters in place for their agents. Their agents do take tests, and I think I said this in the article. Their agents do have to go through classes, and they go through a more rigorous process than a high school NIL agent has to do. But the NFL also has protections for those agents. Somebody just can't come and scoop your guy without getting reprimanded. You know what I'm saying? Because so they have parameters in place for agents as well. They have a code, a Scout's Honor. There's no code right now or Scout's Honor for NIL agents. So to some extent, you might pay a little bit more, but you shouldn't be paying 15 or 18% of your child's NIL deal. That's absurd.
Yes.
But, if you see somebody asking for 5 or maybe even 6%, somewhere in that 3% range or whatever, that's pretty reasonable because they're going to be doing a lot of preliminary work and there are no guarantees for them. There are no guarantees out here for them right now. So some people like to call it the Wild Wild West. I don't want to call it, but that's kind of how it gets explained in this space. But so I would say, tell your children to send the agents to you. Vet the agent the way you would vet anybody else wanting to be in your personal space. Educate yourself on as much of the athletic knowledge and the sports knowledge that they tell you. Try to, Google that to be able to see, if they're telling you the truth. And then if you feel comfortable at that point, sign on and make this person part of your family. They're going to work hard for you if they feel like they are connected to you. Like this is their kid also. This is our kid.
Nikkie Bouyer-Randle, you've got it going on. I appreciate your time. Get back to work, and good luck to AJ, not only, I guess, this season at Garner, but down at Miami. I appreciate your time. Be well. We'll talk again down the road.
All right. Thank you so much.
That was, A, enjoyable, B, enlightening, and I think educational for parents. So it does help that she has gone through the college recruiting process and all of it. All of it matters. But there are bad actors everywhere. This is not about, there are bad actors in the college NIL space. There are bad actors everywhere looking to take advantage of people who might not otherwise know. That is a mom. Seems to have her act together.
She does.
That was awesome.
I love that.
So now I'm rooting for AJ. Go AJ Randle. I know we went to Miami. We'll all have to deal with it. All right. When we come back, Steve Wiseman from the News and Observer on Duke basketball. He's got a book out about Duke basketball. I'm looking forward to talking to Steve next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice. With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may be able to even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much you can get right now. Call 919-381-1760. That's 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
It's bow time. We think a chicken sandwich this good should speak for itself. But when you're talking juicy, hand-breaded, and boldly seasoned chicken breasts, piled up with thick-cut pickles and creamy mayo all on a buttery toasted bun, well, we are happy to say it again and again and again. Bo's Chicken Sandwich, only at Bojangles. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your Bojangles sandwich craving. With Bojangles sandwich lineup, you can choose a flavorful Cajun fried chicken filet sandwich, or a tender Cajun grilled chicken filet sandwich, or a tasty Bo's chicken sandwich. Make it a combo and add your choice of a side and Bojangles legendary iced tea. There's a Bojangles sandwich combo for everyone. Summer just doesn't get any better than that. What are you waiting for? It's bow time.
I have a dare for you. After you use your old mop and bucket, put on your whitest socks and walk across the floor. Now look down. What's that gray stuff on your socks? I used to have that too, until I switched to Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop breaks down and locks away tough messes. Take the dare. Try Swiffer Power Mop. White sock approved.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
This is Adam Gold.
Steve Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house that they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I saw North Carolina's non-conference basketball schedule today, and I think it's very appropriate. that we bring in Steve Wiseman. His book is not about Carolina basketball, but we've seen Duke's non-conference basketball schedule. We know, I don't know that we have seen all of State's just yet. Maybe it is final. I haven't seen it. Carolina's very good. Duke's is, my gosh, kind of ridiculous, including 3 games that are going to be played on Amazon Prime because that's what Duke basketball can do. Steve Wiseman has out Duke basketball, an illustrated history. It is a brand new book that you should buy for Christmas. Duke basketball, an illustrated timeline by Steve Wiseman, who is the sports editor of the News and Observer. I think I got that right. Also on the Mount Rushmore of Cardinals fans that I like. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Mike, I'm actually going to bring up a baseball thing to you before we have to say goodbye because I know you would appreciate it.
Okay.
So how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for that fine introduction again, Adam. It's always good to be with you.
All right. I always try to butter up the guests. When you were going back through all of the photos and looking at this run of Duke basketball, and I'm going to ask you in a second where you started, but when you just give me a broad brush of what struck you about putting this together.
So, everybody, thinks Duke basketball started with Coach K, right? And it did obviously go to another level.
Right.
But they did have Final Four appearances before Coach K, in the early 60s.
Yep.
3 of them, and then another in 78. So that got going. But I'm going to get to your answer here. Even before that, like in the 1920s and the late teens and early 20s of the 1900s there, the 20th century, they were winning state championships. Like they were very quickly became not dominant. I mean, because they weren't in a conference. They were just just playing state games. Davidson, Wake Forest, NC State, and Carolina. Elon won a state championship one year in the 19 teens. Just to tell you about that. But Duke was within 10 or 15 years of starting the basketball program was winning championships, and so it even goes back that far. And they weren't a national power by any stretch, but they were, on the local level, competitive very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, when did you? How far back did you go? You went all the way back to the start. To the beginning. I guess that makes sense. They did have photographs back then. So we all know what why, like you said, they had Duke basketball before Mike Krzyzewski.
Yes.
And whether it was Vic Bubas or Bill Foster, who took them to the national championship game in '78, and they lost to Kentucky. But man, we associate Duke's history with Mike Krzyzewski so much, and it's because they won at a rate, and they've basically continued to win at a rate that is almost unprecedented outside of UCLA, right?
Yes, and I mean, I know the people in Kentucky would be screaming at us right now.
Hey, let them scream.
Chapel Hill, right? But yes, I mean, and that's right. I mean, Coach K took them to the highest level they could be at, right? So by winning the 5 national championships and that stretch where they went to 7 Final Fours in 9 years, from the late 80s to the early 90s. That was UCLA-esque. Nobody else was doing that at that time. That they weren't winning it all those years. They finally won it, 91, but they were getting there. They were every year they were in the Final Four just about. And so yes, that is where it became, this behemoth. And in fact, the first chapter of my book is entitled "Birth of a Basketball Beast," and that's March 2, 1906, when they started the program. It was Trinity back then, but Trinity College. But that's my point, is like they are a basketball beast. There's no question about that. They are up there among the highest of the programs in the country. And this book is a year by year, step by step, all the way through how they got to this point. is what so people can look and see all about Duke basketball before Coach K, during Coach K, and after Coach K.
Steve Wiseman is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. This is the longest since Mike Krzyzewski took over. This is the longest they have gone without a national championship. So we're getting into what this will be year 12, I think.
They won it in 15. That's right.
Right. So Coach K took over in 83-84. They won in 91 and 92. 9 years later, they won again. Then they won it in 10 and then 15.
Right.
I'm not going to say, is there a problem? Because there's not a problem with Duke basketball. Is this just a learning curve, you think, for John?
Yes, I do, because, he's had teams the last 2 years that were national championship quality, right? The first 2 years, they weren't. And they got to the Elite Eight in 24, and lost to NC State. They weren't going to win it that year, even if they got past NC State.
Right.
But the last 2 years, they've had teams that were capable of winning it all, and couldn't finish the games off, the important games. Houston in the Final Four in San Antonio, and obviously UConn last March in the Elite Eight in DC. And John knows how to coach teams that finish games off. They do finish games off at other times. They've won the ACC championship. I was at the game last year when they had to hit a shot late against Florida and then have a defensive stop. This is in Cameron. They won the game, though. And so it does happen. They've just flamed out on these, high-profile, spectacular spots. So he's going to have, fair or not, he's going to have to learn to get past that. They're going to have to get past that for him to shed that stigma, really. And that's what's going on here. And I think, the way he's running the program, it feels inevitable he's going to win one, because they're always, right there with the top talent in the country. That has not fallen off since the coaching change happened. So this is a learning curve, to answer your question. Yes, and he's going to have to finally get there.
Steve Wiseman, author of Duke Basketball: An Illustrated Timeline. What do you make of his, I guess, flirtation with the NBA? For Mike Krzyzewski, he had a couple of those, one with the Celtics, one with the Lakers, famously with the Lakers. Not really middle of his tenure, but maybe beyond the middle of his tenure. What do you make of John's flirtation with the Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, and there was another time with Kay, you talked about Boston. That was in the late 80s. Portland came after him one time as well around that same time. So he had not won yet, kind of like John now. And but he established himself as one of the better coaches in college basketball. So it only made sense that they would approach him. I think that's what happened this time. It wasn't so much John approaching the Mavericks as they were coming after him pretty hard.
Right.
So they ended up getting Dusty May from Michigan. So that's what they were looking for. And obviously Derek Lively and Cooper Fleck and Kyrie Irving being on the Mavericks had to help John's case, right? I'm sure they were in the ears of their bosses, like, hey, this guy we know at Duke is pretty good. Let's try to get him in here. But I would have been surprised had he gone. I'm not surprised he stayed, because again, he hasn't won yet, and I think Coach K would have advised him to stay. Like, it's too soon. Right. It's probably too soon. He needs a little more seasoning. The learning curve we mentioned earlier is still going on. And, he could go to the NBA and win. I think he could win and do well. But if he wants to really, 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 really win at that level, he needs some more time here, I think.
Do you think it's easier or harder to put together a consistently good program today than it was 20 years ago?
I'm thinking here. 20 years ago, we didn't have one and dones yet. We had just gotten rid of the one and done. We just got rid of the high school guys going straight in.
Right.
We had one and dones. Pardon me. Yes. I think everybody has money now. Okay, and I look at it this way. In football, Indiana was a terrible football program.
Yes.
And I know, a lot of people were paying money to kids before it was legal. I understand that. But not everybody was paying at the same level, okay? Right. Not everybody had a salary like we do. And Indiana all of a sudden had money to spend in a legal way, and they got good in football. So let's take that over to basketball. Duke can pay at a higher level, but more teams can now be involved. More teams can get guys that maybe didn't before, because you can pay them a little more maybe, or something like that. Maybe it's not, I don't want to go to Duke and be the seventh man or eighth man in the rotation, even though every game's going to be on national TV and I'm going to have a chance to make pretty good NIL money because I'm at Duke and playing on Amazon. But another team that's not high can say, I'm going to spend more on my salary cap on this guy and pay more of the salary cap. So that's what I'm trying to say. There's more competition that way.
Right.
Before, the Blue Bloods kind of had control of things, and they could pick and choose who they wanted all the time. And there's more competition there. Dylan Harper went to Rutgers. Remember, he and Ace Bailey were at Rutgers. And those are guys, why would they go to Rutgers? I mean, anyway.
You could say, you could even say now, why did you go to Rutgers? Right? Because I don't think they played in the NCAA tournament. I think they even finished under 500 that season. Two guys who were top 10 picks in the NBA draft on the same team. Very LSU-ish when Ben Simmons was there. Steve Wiseman, News and Observer sports editor, and the man who put together Duke basketball, an illustrated timeline. All right, let me ask you a baseball question, because I know you're a baseball fan, and I'm going to let you go. By the way, I want people to get this. My mother-in-law is a huge Duke fan, so I'm going to get her. I'm going to buy this for her.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. She's going to love this. All right, let me ask you this. I saw this. So I don't even know who posted it, but it's a great thought exercise. The biggest what if in baseball. All right. And they listed 10 names. I'm not going to go through all 10. I'm actually just going to skip the last one based on, off the field issues or injury. Who could have been, one of the absolute all-timers? Eric Davis of the Reds, Dwight Gooden of the Mets, Mickey Mantle, interesting, pretty amazing career. Mike Trout, who in many ways is Mickey Mantle, Don Mattingly, Herb Score, Sandy Koufax, Darryl Strawberry, Josh Hamilton.
So as you were leading into that, before you gave me any names, the first two guys I thought of were Gooden and Strawberry.
Okay.
Because of the drugs and all that stuff. And I mean, your Mets should have won like 3 or 4 World Series with those guys over about an 8-year period, probably.
We won one.
Yeah. But there was more there to be had, and it all got messed up, and it started like in '87 when Gooden went to rehab, I think, in spring training, and that's why the Cardinals won the division that year. So, yes. So those are the guys that I think of. Eric Davis, I mean, I saw him play in his prime. I know you did too, probably.
Yeah.
Incredible talent. Boy, Mickey Mantle surprised me, because you're right. Like, he is one of the great ones. He already is.
I mean, he had over 500 home runs in his career, switch hitter. Now, could he have been better if he wasn't hungover for 35% of his career? Probably, and he had knee injuries as well. Mike Trout's dealt with knee injuries. When I looked at this list, emotionally, for me, it's Gooden, because Gooden had his rookie season, Rookie of the Year, his second year, Cy Young. He looked like he was going to be the greatest pitcher ever. Drugs and other injuries, he was never the same after 85. Never, even in the following year when they won the World Series. Was he their best pitcher? I would argue no. I would argue that he wasn't their best starting pitcher, that he might have been their third best starting pitcher that year. Strawberry had a really good career. Yeah, drugs derailed it. But when I got to Josh Hamilton, here's a guy drafted 1 overall in 99, doesn't show up in the big leagues until 2007 because of drug use, rehab, relapses, injury, and all of that. Josh Hamilton could have been one of the absolute all-timers, had about 4 or 5 really good seasons, and then was done. To me, that's the answer to this question, especially locally. I mean, Hamilton could have been legendary.
Absolutely. He had Hall of Fame talent.
Yep.
I mean, no question about it. And he could have been a multiple MVP, all that kind of stuff. With the speed. Yeah. So anyway.
Still the greatest single performance in the history of the home run derby, and he didn't even win that home run derby. Do you remember who won that home run derby?
It was in Yankee Stadium, right?
Yep.
I don't.
Justin Morneau.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Steve Wiseman, News and Observer Sports Editor, and once again, the man behind Duke Basketball and Illustrated Timeline. Go get it. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate your time always.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, Adam.
You got it. Steve Wiseman here on the Adam Gold Show. That was really just an opportunity to talk a little bit about baseball with Steve Wiseman.
I don't hate it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
He's a Cardinal fan, though.
I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I could see why he's on the Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
he's very nice.
Steve is one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
All right. Let's break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We'll place bets. I'm very excited for today because of what happens tomorrow. Next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Turning 65 soon, navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
You probably know that rechargeable batteries power electronics like mobile phones, gaming devices, and power tools. But did you know these batteries are also found in devices like electric toothbrushes, CPAP machines, and many more, and should not be disposed of in your trash or recycling bins as they can cause fires? To see a list of devices with lithium-ion batteries and where to dispose of them safely, visit batterysafe.nc.gov. That's batterysafe.nc.gov. Remember, skip the bin. Turn your batteries in.
Boating is a favorite national pastime for millions of North Carolinians and contributes $9.1 billion annually to the state's economy, helping to support local businesses from marinas and dealerships to restaurants and tourism. Here is Robert Newsom of the National Marine Manufacturers Association.
Boating remains popular because it brings friends and family together to enjoy the outdoors. That time on the water also generates significant economic activity. Nationwide, recreational boating supports 812,000 jobs and 36,000 businesses, 93% of which are small businesses. And there are many ways to get on the water, from owning a new or pre-owned boat to renting or joining a boat club.
Each year, millions of Americans get out on the water, driving economic activity in communities across the country. To learn more, visit discoverboating.com.
At the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, we know a safe farm is a profitable one, and we're teaming up with your local NC Cooperative Extension agent to offer the Certified Safe Farm Program. It's a non-regulatory safety review with an on-farm walkthrough, health checks, and more. For a limited time, the NC Tobacco Trust Fund Commission is sponsoring up to $1,000 in cost share for participating farms to make safety improvements. Real help to protect you, your workers, and your farm. See more at ncagro.medicine.org.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're looking at issues that affect families in every corner of North Carolina. Maternal health. My guest is Marissa Franks from the North Carolina Healthcare Foundation, who shares information about the Maternal Health Action Network.
No single hospital or organization can solve maternal mortality alone. It takes all of us in healthcare and in our communities to do that. But by sharing knowledge, listening to patients, partnering with communities, addressing barriers to care, and implementing proven practices, we can make a real difference. So I think our work demonstrates what's possible when healthcare organizations come together around a common goal, which is helping every mother and baby have the healthiest possible start.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go. The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos.
Looks like it might start raining here soon, at least in our neck of the woods.
Yes, that would be fine.
We need it.
Could use it.
Mm-hmm.
We had plenty of rain in, July, right?
Yeah.
Early August. Have not had a ton of rain since.
No.
We've basically gone almost 2 weeks with very, very little. We could use more. Although I am very happy to not mow.
Yeah, that's the one benefit, for sure.
Sort of. if it is, in fact, a benefit.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to place bets. By the way, just for so people understand, I'm not going to be here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I
will be.
I don't know what's going on tomorrow. I'm trying to think why I'm not here tomorrow. I'd rather not.
Mow the lawn.
No. I'll be somewhere crying. But the Premier League starts tomorrow.
Oh.
Right. Speaking of that, in a little bit less than an hour, Jack Collins of Sirius XM, channel 157. If you are a soccer fan, you know the channel, and he will join us to preview the Premier League, which starts tomorrow.
There you go.
Maybe that's why I'm not here. I don't know.
Maybe.
Right now, it's time to stretch.
Well, I know we talk a lot about how the NCAA likes to be in court.
They love it.
Mark Zuckerberg is in court.
Really?
And I feel like that's no one should be shocked by this because Facebook and Instagram could change here soon. Meta is being sued. Only for only $1.4 trillion with a T dollars.
Meta?
Yes.
Is being sued for $1.4 trillion?
Yes, by 29 U.S. states. Yes. So.
Okay. You've got my interest.
Right? These states are alleging that the way Facebook and Instagram operate are hazardous to children's health, which, duh. Social media.
This has a Joe Camel feel to it here.
Yeah, it's social media is not good for anyone, much, even more so for kids. But yes, It is an issue. So, if Zuck loses in court, some things that might look different. There may not be this might entail the death of the Infinity Scroll. And autoplay. Now, people who don't know that, it's just when you sit there and scroll and scroll and scroll because you see one thing and then that leads to another thing that you might be interested in, and then another thing, and then another. And
autoplay. I believe autoplay should be against the law.
Right. Yeah.
If you're watching something, this happens on Twitter too.
Yeah.
If you get a video, especially if you're on your, if actually it happens when you're on your phone, not when you're using the desktop.
Right.
But you play a video, and then as soon as that video ends, it takes you to another video.
Right.
And it plays another, and that video is good.
Exactly.
And then I'm watching that, and then I realize, my gosh, where did 45 minutes go?
That's the problem. That's you with TikTok and some of your snacks, I think, right?
Absolutely.
So these features, like we mentioned, are intended to keep you scrolling and maximize screen time. So that may be going away if this happens. Also, the end of the like button, which, a lot of people, because kids, that's where they seek attention, is to see who can like their posts and how many and all this.
I've never liked anything.
Yeah. So this lawsuit would end all of those metrics. Also, no more algorithmic manipulation. So they would go back to the old chronological way to view your feed, which would be interesting, a little throwback. But yeah, those algorithms, they'll get you.
Yes.
Even if you don't want them to. Like, I don't know how many times you might accidentally click on something that has nothing to do with anything you're interested on, but because your thumb hit it by accident, now you're getting a whole bunch of rug commercials or something. I don't need a new refrigerator, it was an accident. So yeah, it's might get rid of that. Also, curbing frequent notifications. Yes, please and thank you, because oh my goodness, I get notified for everything. I'm so over getting notifications that so-and-so posted for the first time in a while. Yeah, so it will cut down on stuff like that, apparently. And then also, I was not aware of this because I was not a child when this all started, but the death of Finsta, have you heard of this?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so apparently this is a burner account that's away from your parents' eyeballs. So kids can be sneaky with their, I'm assuming, Instagram, and your parents can't tell. It's a way to work around all your parents' restrictions.
Oh, okay.
On stuff.
Perfect.
I didn't realize
those should not exist.
I know. I didn't even realize that was a thing, but apparently it is. So that would be gone too. That would go if this works out. So I don't know. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, $1.4 trillion. Wow.
That's a 1.4. That's a lot.
I know.
I hope he loses.
I know. I want to see what that looks like in a room. What does that look like in real life? Is it a Mount Rushmore of money?
Oh my gosh. I want to see $1.4 trillion in 20s.
Yes, exactly.
What does that look like?
Yeah, I want it not hundreds, because then we got to break the marker out to make sure it's real.
And most places don't even take it.
No.
Can you break 100? Nope.
Nope, sorry.
What about
can't
a 50?
Do it.
Nope.
Nope, we don't like cash money anymore.
So, just so you know, I rarely have those.
Yeah. So there's that.
Oh, so many people don't even carry cash anymore.
No, there's a lot of venues, even concert venues, it's cashless.
Lenovo Center, does not accept cash.
I know. I want to say maybe Walnut Creek is like that as well.
I wish they still, all places still accepted cash.
Yeah, me too.
We should accept cash.
I know, right? That's normal.
Again, we did it for the pandemic.
Right.
We were afraid of passing COVID through U.S. currency.
And now, just like most things, they just stuck with it. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like you mentioned, this was kind of like a one-timer I was going to throw out, but you mentioned it's National Radio Day.
It is National Radio Day.
So, do you have a favorite radio memory?
Favorite. So I'm going to remove myself and anything that I have done professionally, and I will just say I grew up as a radio kid.
Me too.
And I'm not even going to talk about listening to the Mets games on the radio or Knicks games when I was a kid. But we used to listen to morning radio all the time. WNEW in New York was where I became a fan of the medium. And the first morning DJ that I remember listening to, and people from the New York area my age will remember the name Ted Brown. And yeah, that's my radio, first memory of radio is really listening to that.
Yeah.
And he used to do a bit called Up Your Vocabulary.
Okay.
Where they would teach you a new word or maybe a new meaning for a word. And his line going into it was, I've upped mine, now you up yours.
I see what he did there.
Fantastic.
I love it. Yeah. No, I was a radio kid, too. I had a little handheld radio. I'd go outside when I would go outside to play because that's what kids used to do back then. I used to go outside. Then you'd have to come home when the street lights came on.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to take my little radio out there. But you know what I couldn't do when I was a kid? And kids shouldn't do now either. Is place bets.
Kids should
place
not
your
do
bets.
it.
Place your bets. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, you go first.
All right, well, my Cubbies aren't playing today, so that means I'm just going to focus all of that energy on the White Sox losing. So, it's because we know the Brewers aren't going to they're not going to lose to the Mariners. Oh my gosh, did you see that 22-0 game? What a garbage.
Cubs got shut out by the White Sox?
They did not. I'm not going to talk about that, but they did.
Did that really happen?
They won the series, so there's that. And the White Sox still stink. So let's go with the Braves. They're going to be in Chicago taking on the Atlanta Braves. Give me the Braves to win on the road. It's literally a pick'em game right now, -104. But if the Braves win and you take the over 8.5, that's +225.
By the way, did you see the Orioles get robbed of a home run yesterday?
No, I missed that.
Pete Alonso hit a ball that was inside the fair pole, clearly inside of it.
Right.
They ruled it foul initially, then went to replay, and the call on the field stands. I'm like, what are you guys watching?
Yeah, did you just go get a hot dog?
It was clearly inside the foul pole.
Wow.
I don't understand what we were doing. All right, all of our wagers today are Premier League related.
Nice.
We're going to start. We're going to give you 2 matches coming up this weekend. Brentford home to Tottenham. Brentford will surprise Spurs +140. Newcastle opens at home to Liverpool. That will be a draw +280.
Okay, so I'm going to do football with not the feet. And I'm going to do some preseason tonight, even though this is just practice. But give me the Texans because they're still the Raiders. And I'm going to take the over 38.5. That's +245.
All right, next I'm going to give you 2 teams that might get relegated other than the 3 teams that came up. Fulham +460. Newcastle +1,000.
Yeah.
To possibly get relegated.
That's nice. Now, this is a game I doubt that you're going to stay up for, but you might because you're off tomorrow.
I am.
The 49ers and the Chargers.
I'm not watching
game doesn't start till 10 o'clock. Oh, barf. But give me the Chargers to win, +105.
All right. Erling Haaland's going to win the Golden Boot. He's going to have the most goals in the Premier League. But just in case, Alexander Isak for Liverpool, +850 to have the most goals in the league.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Football is back. NFL preseason is back, and the excitement is there. The Panthers looked great in the Hall of Fame preseason game. Haynes King was electric. They got the win. Everybody celebrated. But let's pump the brakes a little bit. Kenny Pickett is still the backup quarterback. It's still Bryce Young's team. Haynes King can be a nice piece.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. My favorite place to go in the Triangle for the best wings on the planet. How about this special? Every Monday, half-priced wings all day. Dine-in only. Now that's a deal, baby. Everything on the menu is amazing. Pizza, apps, and always great drink specials. Visit any of their 5 Triangle locations and their pet-friendly patio, too. Online, buffbrothers.com. Aw, man. Now I want wings.
You're listening to the Financial Safari News Network.
From Coach Pete's Money Desk, America's Wealth Coach, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, you say it, a 401k is great, but it's not a plan.
Here's a big question. What if your 401k could act like a private pension with a check landing in your account every single month for the rest of your life. Would you want to hear about it? Because right now the 401k has a nice big number. That's what it is. It's a number. It's just important to put as much away as we can. But if you could price out your dream retirement the way you'd price out a kitchen remodel, what would it cost? Most people never tried this. So you basically say, what would my dream retirement look like? And then we'll break it down. What do you want to do all through retirement? Do you want to play golf? Do you want to visit the grandkids? Do you want to do all the cool things that you always saw other people doing? If you're in the go-go years when you hit retirement, you need to make sure your money doesn't go away right when you need it.
That's right. Call 888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done?
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment until the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Leon was about to leave the military.
My biggest concern was, what am I going to do next?
He found out about My Computer Career and their military transition program.
The Cyber Warrior program takes you from not knowing anything about a computer at all to being a subject matter expert.
How long is that going to take?
In the span of 4 months, I was able to get 4 different certifications.
4 months? Leon's advice?
Highly recommended.
Become a certified cyber warrior in just months at mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. VA education benefits available to those who qualify.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I would repeat those last few statements about Coach Bill Belichick as well. Thank you for demanding excellence every single day. Your preparation, discipline, and attention to detail shaped far more than my football career. Unfortunately, Bill couldn't make it here today. There's a lot going on at UNC right now. He may be on a recruiting trip right now looking for the next Lawrence Taylor. I thought it was because training camp had already started. But in truth, it's because he's judging his girlfriend's cheerleading competition.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. That's Victoria. We're on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show. Or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you'll find us. Ryan Henkel, Hockey News, covers the Hurricanes. We'll talk to him in about 15 minutes. And at the bottom of the hour, Jack Collins, Sirius XM, does his own show now, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10 to 1. But for last year or so has been part of the football show, morning radio. If you're interested in European football, they talk MLS too, by the way. Just talk if you're interested in soccer, if you're a diehard of that sport, you know who Jack Collins is. We'll preview the Premier League, which starts tomorrow, with Arsenal, the title holders, hosting Coventry City. That's Frank Lampard, Chelsea legend, his group who came up. They won the championship a year ago, finished first. Look, I hope they stay up. I think of the 3 promoted sides, I think they have the best chance to stay up. But we'll have to see. Plus, an American, Haji Wright, is one of their strikers. Anyway, we'll talk to Jack Collins about the upcoming Premier League season in just a bit. Lots to do. Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio.
There's no doubt about it.
Let's start with some football stuff. And this is Adam Schefter on a college problem. So the NCAA, as you know, if you've been listening to this program or you simply follow college sports, the NCAA has basically taken, I think over the last month, daily beatings in court. Almost every day, they either lose a case or a case that they've already lost, which they appealed. They have been told, what are you guys doing? And it really, the court losses date all the way back to the House case, which ultimately was went to the Supreme Court, and the NCAA was defeated 9-0. And it really wasn't even a case that had much to do with sports. It was really more about academics, but it folded into sports, and the NCAA was part of the lawsuit. And they were, Brett Kavanaugh essentially said in his consenting opinion, how have you guys been getting away with this business model forever? And now every time they're in court, they just get the back of somebody's hand. Anyway, the latest loss happened, I believe, yesterday in a court of law in Louisiana, where a judge ruled that players could, after going through an NFL training camp, return, and this is not very dissimilar to playing in the G League and going back and playing college basketball, but they could leave an NFL training camp after being cut and go back and play in college. Here's Adam Schefter.
So you're talking about the prospect of multiple players who don't make it on the NFL rosters, then having the option, potentially, of going back to play in college football. And then there'll be cases where even a player who has the chance to join a NFL practice squad or even an active roster at the veteran minimum might opt to go back to college football. So college football programs now, as Pete Thamel alluded to, are actually looking at NFL teams and studying preseason tape to figure out how they might round out their roster. And if they're bringing in NFL players on September 1st, then that means they're cutting some players from their college programs. And we are living in an unprecedented Wild West world where it's gotten crazier and crazier. And this may be the single craziest moment that we've seen yet.
He's not wrong. You know me. You've been listening long enough. And I make fun of the NCAA all the time. I don't know why. I mean, we don't, unfortunately, the law and logic they don't always work. It seems pretty cut and dried once you've gone through an NFL training camp and all of that. I mean, yeah, I guess you could, just like you could go be a G League player or go through an NFL or NBA training camp like Seth Trimble and go back to LSU, go back to Louisville, or go to Louisville, not back to Louisville, or come back to college. It seems like that shouldn't be allowed. But here's what happens when you're the NCAA and you take such a hard line on so many different things. Is that once you lose and precedent is set, even if I'll use a baseball strike zone as an example. Before we had the challenge system, right? If you are I think it was against the Braves, right? If you're a Braves fan and Eric Gregg is working home plate and Levon Hernandez keeps throwing the pitch further and further and further outside, but it looks similar to the one that he just called a strike, well, we keep calling him a strike. Meanwhile, we're now like 8-10 inches off the plate, and we're still calling them strikes because, well, it was pretty close to the last one. We're at this point just violation adjacent or eligibility adjacent. And we keep pushing the boundaries. This is what happens when your rule book is untenable, when your attitude towards the rules is rigid. Once you get beat, man, that's close to that. The NCAA is just going to take loss after loss after loss after loss. Need to rewrite rules, man. And you need to make the rules amenable to today's world, and you need to collectively bargain. Sorry about that. All right, Jordan Rogers from ESPN. We'll have Shedeur Sanders start this week's game for the Cleveland Browns. They declared that a week ago. Deshaun Watson started the first game. He played okay. Shedeur Sanders did not, but Shedeur Sanders will start this game, and Jordan Rogers wonders what Deshaun Watson's doing.
So there's no reason that he should be on the field because it does nothing for the Cleveland Browns and their future. It does nothing for Deshaun Watson to go out there and just be good or be pretty good. Or, hey, you know what? Hasn't played in a while. He looks pretty good for not playing in a while. Don't care. It does nothing for them. You have Shedeur Sanders, you have Dylan Gabriel, and Taylon Green, who you drafted all in the last 2 years. And you know nothing, essentially, about them, or you don't know if one of them can be your future, and you have 2 first-round draft picks next year in a loaded quarterback class. What does Deshaun Watson do for you? So to the Shedeur Sanders point, can he earn the starting job? What can he do to get back in that mix if it is Deshaun Watson leading? It shouldn't matter. He should be the starter because you have to figure out what you have in him before you can decide what we're going to do at that position in the future because you've invested a lot of draft capital and you have a lot of draft capital to use moving forward.
I'm not so concerned about whatever happens in week 1 or 2 or 3. But there are a number of teams who should be thinking about quarterback of the future. Arizona, we talked about it before the draft. I think John Breach was on with us, not before the draft, but before the Hall of Fame game. And we talked about, because Carson Beck played well, right? Carson Beck should be the starting quarterback for Arizona. Because you'd like to find out if Carson Beck is a legitimate NFL quarterback or not. Because if he is, maybe you don't need to draft a quarterback with your first overall pick, and just take your lumps in your record this year. Maybe you have a high pick that you can either use on a position not named quarterback, or can sell for massive assets. If you're the Jets, start Cade Klubnik. You don't think Cade Klubnik is the quarterback of the future by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe he's somebody who might be a decent backup. And if you go 2 and 15, does that add up to 17? If you go 2 and 15, so be it. If the quarterback draft next year is this good, then teams who might be in the market for quarterbacks think about, I want to think about this year. So for the Browns, start Shedeur Sanders. If you're the Cardinals, start Carson Beck. And see what you have. I don't know. Maybe you have the right quarterback. Maybe Beck or Sanders or both. Maybe they'll be your quarterback going forward. But wasting a year, no offense to Jacoby Brissett, no offense to Geno Smith, no offense to Deshaun Watson. No, you know what? Offense to Deshaun Watson. He deserves it. Play your younger quarterback, see what you have. Those veteran guys, they ain't helping you win. Not enough to make the playoffs. All right, when we come back, Ryan Henkel, Hockey News, covers the Hurricanes. Hurricanes were ranked 16th at Hockey News for off-season maneuvering. I will ask Ryan, who had nothing to do with the article, why the Hurricanes were ranked so high. Next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
When severe weather moves in, it helps to know you're not facing it alone. WRAL News Plus is right there with you, guiding you through every update, every storm track, every changing condition. Count on reliable forecasts, clear information, and calm voices from the Triangle's most experienced team of meteorologists. Listen on 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and throughout the Triangle on 101.5 FM HD3. WRAL News Plus, keeping you safe, keeping you informed.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. With the international soccer season about to begin, I thought I would talk to you about top of the table Miller Lending, where Gordon Miller invented the no closing cost mortgage back in 19
87. That was actually before the Prem began. Brought it to the Triangle in 1996, and people have been saving thousands of dollars ever since. What do you mean saving thousands of dollars? Closing costs are real money. They come out of your account. And while some companies say we're offering you a no closing cost mortgage, note that the closing costs, more often than not, have been folded into the loan amount. So not only are you still paying them, but you are financing them, and that is evil. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage. You can find out more about it at millerlending.com. Miller Lending, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you currently taking weight loss injections, but worried about the side effects or the muscle loss? Or maybe you're just tired of slow progress or a monthly bill that never goes away. At Raleigh Weight Loss Center, we have the off-ramp you've been looking for. We show you how to transition from medication dependence to metabolic freedom. The proprietary nutraceuticals we use helps protect your muscle and stimulates natural fat burning, so you can finally get the results you want without relying on a pharmacy forever. Deep down, we know that better health comes from better habits, not better chemistry. Let us help you take back control.
Hey, this is Dennis from 99.9 The Fan. Summer is ending, and now is the time to prioritize yourself. Get your confidence back and set your long-term health goals. Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Schedule your free 15-minute phone consultation with Raleigh Weight Loss Center and see if their program is right for you. Schedule today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
O'Reilly. Right now, O'Reilly Auto Parts gets you back to savings. Fuel system additives can improve your vehicle's fuel economy and performance. Pick up select Royal Purple fuel system additives, buy one, get one free. Plus receive 4 times O Rewards points. Add it to your tank at your next fill-up. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. Just going through my Twitter timeline today. Something popped up from the hockey news. And I did not realize they were going through I think it's a day-by-day, release the next one type of a situation, where they were ranking the off-season maneuvers of every team in the NHL. Number 16 popped up in my feed today, the Carolina Hurricanes. And I thought, this is, first thing I thought was, because I didn't read it first thing I thought was, 16th? What? What is wrong with you? And then I realized, they're talking about off-season, moves, signings, trades, blah, blah. I'm like, heck, why are they 16th? They should be like 30th. So I texted my friend Ryan Henkel, Hockey News, who covers the Hurricanes, although had nothing, as far as I know, to do with this particular angle of attack. And he joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I think I said to you that I would rank them 30th among off-season moves. They basically are running it back with the same team, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, technically they've lost more players than they've added. They've net negative overall in terms of total roster construction with, Frederick Anderson going to Edmonton, Mike Riley unsigned,
Right.
Alexander Keishan, who knows what's going to happen there. But it's basically the same team minus a few parts. So, in terms of, like you said, the roster construction, the offseason, they didn't do too much.
They have been rumored to have their hands in a lot of different areas and they have not done anything just yet. You mentioned Alexander Nikishin and Ryan Henkel, so let me just ask you, A, what would you do? B, what do you think they will do?
It's an interesting one. Me personally, I think a bridge contract is just kind of the play to make. I know Carolina's not huge on bridge deals, but he's got such an awkward position right now with the team where he's not quite up to snuff defensively. Everyone saw that the postseason was not a good postseason for Alexander Nikishin. He had a lot of struggles with, his gaps, his, awareness, all sorts of things. And, Carolina, they're not 100% sure if this is a player that's going to work out the way that they hope he's going to work out, with Carolina's system. And he's a really good offensive player. He had double-digit goals, 30-plus points. Right. He was a power play producer. But that role isn't really available. Shane Gostisbehere, the guy you can put on the third pair to run the top power play, and was really good offensively. And granted, I think his two-way game this past year was really, really good, way better than it's perhaps ever been.
Agreed.
But he's not expected to be the defensive guy like a Keandre Miller, Jacob Slavin type. So Nikishin, what his role may be as a young guy, putting him in that third pair power play spot, there's not a really role for him there. So he's the sixth defenseman. They want him to play a certain way. It's not quite working out for him. He's 24, 25 now. He's not like a spring chicken by any means. So it's the question is how is he going to develop properly? Is there room to grow? Because age curves, this is about the time defensemen start peaking. Statistically, analytically, all that sort of stuff. So personally, I would bridge him, see what you have, see if how things shake out in another year or two when the blue line. A lot of contracts are up, guys in their 30s, so it could have a different look. Maybe his role opens up down the line.
Right.
But I don't know. Carolina's not a huge. They don't love the bridge deal. They don't love the bet to be because what if he does do successfully? Then you're all right, now he wants $30 million because
right.
the cap's exploding and guys who are making should be $7-8 million are now $14 million players.
Ryan Henkel, Hockey News, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at Ryan Henkel _. At the end, the last bridge deal really was Martin Necas, and I think they looked at it as an opportunity to move him, and I think we could, even though they moved him initially for Mikko Rantanen, it certainly seemed to have worked out in Carolina's favor with Logan Stankoven, using a draft pick to get Keandre Miller, and also not even underrated, Taylor Hall's addition to this team has been amazing. So they certainly turned that into a very, very positive thing. But I agree with you. The way I've looked at it is I'm willing to buy a year of Alexander Nikishin to see. And I think if he is legitimately, if he shows better signs of defensive improvement, then you could invest in him for a long-term contract in the $9 million a year range. But maybe if he shows signs defensively, maybe that number does go up. I don't know. But I certainly I would be willing to buy at least a look at a half season because I don't know that you're selling. Maybe you are selling on a high. What do you think they could bring back right now in exchange for Nikishin that would make them significantly better?
Put me on the spot here because
I am.
You're asking me to go into the mind of an NHL general manager.
Right.
We all
you don't
know
have to give me an actual player. Seriously, I don't know. I never answer these questions with a specific player. I just talk about an idea.
It's an interesting proposition because, what does Carolina need? What does the Stanley Cup champion need? And, obviously the big area you could say is goaltending because there's, there's not a definitive answer in goal. Like we all know Pyotr Kochetkov has had really good stretches. He's had really bad stretches, and he's coming off of, a hip surgery that we don't know how that's going to impact his, future. And then Brandon Bussey, obviously one of the best stories ever in the NHL, comes in and, helps them win the cup. This was his first year in the NHL. The question is now, can he do it again? Can he replicate? And, that's a big question mark. A lot of NHL players flame out because they can't adapt or keep going and changing as the seasons progress. So it's a big question mark for Carolina in goal, whether or not they can get improvements there. But again, we also know that Carolina isn't a team that's going to invest a ton of money into goaltending.
Right.
They've gotten results from their defensive play in front and then asking the goaltender just to make those key saves here or there. They don't have to be, the workman type. Like, obviously, Connor Hellebuck's from Winnipeg's name was out there for a long time, all summer pretty much. But is he going to be, obviously he's going to be a difference maker. He's gold medal winner and he's multiple Vezina, Hart Trophy winning goaltender. But is that, does Carolina need, I don't know how much money he's making, like $10 million
No,
goaltender?
it's about 8.5. But I would argue they don't. I would not do that if I were the Hurricanes.
No, so it's like I look at it and it's like, up front, they've got 3 really good lines. They've got some good prospects coming up through the ranks. Bradley Noe, Felix Ingersoll, who could potentially, be impact players one day in the NHL. You look at the blue line. Obviously, there's some guys on the wrong side of 30, but you've got the Keandre Miller, very young, up-and-coming player, is going to be your anchor for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Joel Nystrom and Charles Alexis Legault, both prove that they can come in and play those bottom 6, minutes. You don't have necessarily a young offensive stud in the blue line,
right,
in the prospect pool. So, maybe that you flip him for a guy maybe you have a little more faith in. But again, it's then asking, like, you trade this mystery box that could be something for another mystery box. It's an interesting proposition because I just don't know. There's not like a huge area where you're like, this team needs a big upgrade here because they just won the Stanley Cup. They proved Logan Stankoven can be your 2C. Jackson Blake has emerged as a great top 6 option. Taylor Hall still has plenty left in the tank. Nikolai Ehlers, for goodness sake, was playing in the bottom 6. Like,
I would
proven they got all the pieces.
I would argue that based on ice time, he was still playing in the top 6. Very
true.
All of those things are open to interpretation. Ryan Henkel, Hockey News. Here's what I would do with the idea of like making a trade using Nikishin. A winger with some size who can score. I'm not even. I don't have a player in mind, but a winger with some size who could score. I would not be looking to replace Seth Jarvis right now with a rookie. I would be looking at a veteran, somebody who can you can plug and play into your top 9, or at some point, Jordan Staal is not going to play forever. There needs to be a replacement for whatever we assume Jordan Staal is now, next year, the year after. I think he'll play 3 more years total, including this year. But there has to be some thought given to what's next at that position, and I don't think they have anything like that within their system on the horizon.
No, Jordo is, granted, like people, if you're someone who just looks at the stats, you're like, oh, this guy gets 10 goals, 30 points.
Whatever.
He plays like a third-line center, but it's like, he's also one of the best shutdown centermen in the entire NHL. He's a massive human being who can just physically power people. He controls the pace of play. He controls the puck. Like, he kills penalties. Like, there's so much vitalness to hockey that goes beyond that Jordan Staal does. And like you said, there's not a player like Jordan Staal necessarily. Even, there's only a handful of those guys in the league.
Yep.
Those top selkie big centermen. So it's like, it was a treat. It's a treat to have a Jordan Staal, but it's like you said, losing him, it'll be very interesting to see how the team dynamic shifts, and that could be a thing you look for. Like, can you find a big centerman that you can rely on down the line?
All right, it will. Is Jalen Chatfield a Hurricane 12 months from now?
I would lean on potentially no, because just he's got a little bit of injury history now. The price of the bag's going up. there's a lot of different factors, like I said, and they have, Nystrom, Charles Lexico, these guys coming up through the rankings that, as much as I love Chatty as a player, great player, great guy too, especially in the room. The way Carolina kind of like analyze these things, they don't like to make big bets, long contracts on guys passing their prime, going, like I said, on the wrong side of 30. I think he's 29, 30 now at this point. 29 right now. So another year, 30. So you're looking, a 3-year deal to 33 wouldn't be terrible. I think Eric Tolsky's put a lot of emphasis.
I'm sorry, he's 30. He turned 30 in May.
Okay. I said Eric Tolsky puts a lot of emphasis. I kind of think more on locker room kind of chemistry. I think that's one thing he's talked about learning more. Is that that kind of thing matters.
He is a chemist.
So I can see it both ways, but I would lean towards no, because I think Carolina needs to get a little more aggressive on upgrading their blue line in a year or two, looking out, because I think there's nothing in the system that I look at right now and I'm like, oh, that guy's going to be, the next top 4 defenseman.
Right.
There's a lot of guys that can play their role, that can plug in and play. And, I think Jalen Chatfield is an example of that, when they picked him up, off of the free agency waiver wire after he was in Vancouver, put him through a year in Chicago and proved he could be much more than he was. But that's the thing. It's like, you're not going to pay a premium for guys that you can kind of find that replacement, that cheap guy. And, and I think there's room to improve a year or two down the line in the blue line. And he could be one of those parts that's expendable, as much as I like him.
My prediction here, and I'll let you go here, is that during this season, they extend Jalen Chatfield for 3 more years. That's my prediction. I have no inside information. People understand that. But I think they will extend him. I'm less bullish on extending Shane Gostisbehere because he's a little bit older. But I think at a similar number, they certainly could. But Shane Gostisbehere compiles too many points to get to stay on a $3 million-ish contract. I think you can get Chatfield for between 4 and 5 on a 3-year deal, but we'll see what happens. Ryan Henkel, we're almost there. 1 month from today, I'll see you in Greensboro.
All right, we'll see you there, Adam.
Thanks, man. Appreciate your time. Ryan Henkel _ on Twitter. When we come back, for those of us who dig the Premier League, it starts tomorrow. Jack Collins from SiriusXM will preview it with us next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most, your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
Gear up this fall with the new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. And a fast charge time of just 10 minutes means it's ready when you are. The All-Pro battery is just the upgrade your shed has been waiting for. Outperform the outdoors with battery tools by Steel. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power. Comparison between AP300PC and AP300S. 10-minute charge time to reach 80% with AL1602MO.
At the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, we know a safe farm is a profitable one, and we're teaming up with your local NC Cooperative Extension agent to offer the Certified Safe Farm program. It's a non-regulatory safety review with an on-farm walkthrough, health checks, and more. For a limited time, the NC Tobacco Trust Fund Commission is sponsoring up to $1,000 in cost share for participating farms to make safety improvements. Real help to protect you, your workers, and your farm. See more at ncagromedicine.org. Turning 65 soon, navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we're looking at issues that affect families in every corner of North Carolina. Maternal health. My guest is Marissa Franks from the North Carolina Healthcare Foundation, who shares information about the Maternal Health Action Network.
No single hospital or organization can solve maternal mortality alone. It takes all of us in healthcare and in our communities to do that. But by sharing knowledge, listening to patients, partnering with communities, addressing barriers to care, and implementing proven practices, we can make a real difference. So I think our work demonstrates what's possible when healthcare organizations come together around a common goal, which is helping every mother and baby have the healthiest possible start.
You can learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
This is Adam Gold.
I wanted to tell Victoria that my daughter said she is not eating any more magical cheeses until the season starts.
Yes, I love this. We got a revolution going.
The Adam Gold Show.
If I could break the silence and
Because tomorrow the Premier League is back in full. None of this U.S. tour friendlies where I'm watching the academy for Liverpool. Jack Collins studs up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 1 on Sirius XM. Also, Fulhamish, the podcast, which is hysterical to me. And occasionally, I've been listening to him for more than a year over on the football show with Tom Rennie. I know you were in the United States during the World Cup. I trust you had a great time. I've seen all the photos. I thank you very much for your time. How are you?
I'm very good, Adam. Thank you very much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure, and I'm excited to talk some football with you. It's fun to come on and speak with someone with clearly such passion for it.
I do. I love it. It's probably the only sport I think I can watch any two teams play at this point. I got into it with my son. I was watching Wrexham and Cardiff the other day. So let's, as they say, get stuck into it. Premier League starts tomorrow. We open with Arsenal home to Coventry City. And this is not about that match, obviously. Is anybody, if Arsenal stays relatively healthy, does anybody come within 10 points of them?
I don't think so, no. I think that this one might end up being a little bit of a cakewalk for Arsenal. I think by the end of the season, we might have a couple of teams who feel competitive with Arsenal in terms of where they're actually at. I think Chelsea will get their act together, sadly, from a Fulham perspective. I think that Liverpool will probably get their act together towards the end of the season. I think City will be better than what they showed us in the Community Shield last Sunday. But I think that there's a very strong chance that Arsenal are sort of 10, 11 points clear by Christmas, a little bit like Liverpool were the season before last. And even if they kind of are caught up by a couple of teams or kind of teams close the gap to them in terms of the quality they're putting out there, I think Arsenal will have enough to see it over the line. It's such a deep team. It's such a strong team. I think that the pressure coming off their shoulders of ending that 20-odd year wait for a league title will just mean that they go into this season full of confidence, full of optimism, and it looks very unlikely that anyone's going to stop them going back to back, I think.
Yeah, again, I think it comes down to, do they stay relatively healthy? And they had to deal with a whole bunch of injuries last year. Anyway, 2 years ago, Liverpool won the league, but a lot of it was continuity. The players had so much familiarity. And Arsenal, they have brought in really one player who will likely play a lot, and that's Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield. But other than that, they have to deal with William Saliba's injury, and Ezri Konsa will cover at times at central midfield and maybe at right back. But it's really a lot of the same faces, and I think that plays really to Arsenal's strengths.
I think what they've done is, now that there are players healthy again, look, think about it. They've added Bruno Guimaraes to that midfield, basically to replace Christian Norgard, who's gone off to Everton, who barely played a minute last season.
Right.
And you're looking at it now with the re-emergence of Mars Lewis-Skelly as well in central midfield. There's a 6-7-man core in there that's like Declan Rice, Martin Zubamendi, Bruno Guimaraes, Mikel Merino, Martin Ødegaard, and you're thinking, wow, okay, this is really quite something special. And it kind of doesn't matter which variation of that midfield plays. I think that defensively, they're the most stacked team in the league in terms of depth. I think in midfield, they're the most stacked team in the league in terms of depth and perhaps in terms of quality. They were already the best defensive side in the league. The question marks are going to be around the attacking unit. But I think that with a fully fit Martin Ødegaard, with a fully fit Bukayo Saka, and again, to your point, if they remain healthy, question marks over that. And Christos Solis, who's come in, who I think is going to play more than people are thinking, because look, there is a chance that Arsenal go out and sign a superstar left winger between here and the end of the transfer window. And look, you can't really discount that possibility. But Solis looks very, very sharp. I think he's going to add a creative load to that left-hand side that they didn't really have last year. Leandro Trossard was a really good player and a very important player and a very clutch player, but he's quite a scruffy footballer.
Yeah.
He's the kind of player that gets on the end of things, bundles things home. Whereas I think that Solis looks like he has a little bit more creative juice in there. And when you add that to, a creation pack for Havertz, who might well be fit for much of this year, Gyökeres, who I'd imagine is going to go up a level as well, suddenly that attack looks more than competent in terms of what it looks like. Is it the best attack in Europe? No. Is it even in that conversation? Probably not. But if you don't really concede at the other end, you only really need to score one or two. And I think Arsenal have more than enough capability to do that.
100%. I'm trying to reverse jinx it because I don't want to see Arsenal win again as a Liverpool supporter. But I don't see anybody touching him. Let me ask you, Jack Collins is joining us, SiriusXM. City, after Pep, after Rodri, and we're, just a few years ago, it's really after Kevin De Bruyne. I think we're talking about maybe two of the best ever. Rodri, certainly. I think De Bruyne, too. Two of the best ever at their respective positions, as well as Pep Guardiola, certainly the best manager of my football fandom. What is City like? And there are a lot of transition in the roster anyway. What is City like? What do you forecast for them?
Look, it's always difficult to be the guy after the guy, right? Like it's such a cliche, but you don't really want to be the person that follows Sir Alex Ferguson. David Moyes struggled with that. You don't really want to be the person that follows Jurgen Klopp. Yes, Arne Slot won the league in his first year, but it unraveled very quickly. Yeah. And I think that part of that is the expectations change. And I think that following Pep Guardiola might be the most difficult task of all. 20 trophies in 10 years, a sustained success, of the like we have very, very rarely seen, and someone who fundamentally changed the fabric of English football, I think, in a way that maybe no one has ever done before. So Enzo Maresca has a gargantuan task on his hands, and on top of that, he's lost three of the stalwarts of this squad. Now, John Stones didn't play very much last year, but he was an important part of that dressing room and keeping everything together. And then you lose the best defensive midfielder in the world in Rodri, and Bernardo Silva, who I think was one of Pep's most influential and versatile pieces. And you're trying to kind of knit this squad back together. And I think the thing is that, obviously there are moments where they look over to the touchline and you're like, oh, it'll be all right. Pep oh, wait, it's not Pep. It's not Pep. It's Enzo Maresca. And look, whilst I think he's a very promising and very smart young coach in his own right, like that is a really, really difficult job to achieve. And I wonder what the expectations are at City. Because if they were actually to finish, I don't know, third and win a domestic cup, would that be okay? Because I think that would actually be a very good season from a Manchester City perspective, given the fact that there has been so much turbulence and turmoil and upheaval over the course of the summer. They look a little bit scrambly in the transfer market, which is something you very, very rarely associate with City. You know, there's links with Enzo Fernandez, there's links with Ayoub Bouadi, there's links with Adam Wharton. Three quite different profiles of midfielders. And I'm quite intrigued as to how they tried to plug this Rodri-sized gap. There's been significant exits. They look like they're going to sell Savinho and Marmoush, who are, squad players at best for City. But, you're adding to the players going out and more coming in, and everything just feels like it's a bit up in the air. So I think that if they have some patience with Maresca, they will turn out to be fine. But I struggle to know exactly what the City fan base. It's funny because actually there's two sides to the City fan base. Fulham, my club, came up with City in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s. And I remember City fans always turning out brilliantly. They've got this famous "We're Not Really Here" song when there wasn't people in the ground. And they are a really loyal, hardcore bunch. You've seen them through the third tier and the second tier and record attendances in some of those divisions. And then there is a new kind of fan base who have become City fans over the last 20 years, which is perfectly reasonable, in terms of what they've achieved, who have not known anything but success with this club. How do they react to the club going through a transition period? How do they react to it? Because I think the old heads will probably be like, yeah, we've seen all this before, it's probably fine. Whereas I think some of the newer generation of City fans, should we say, might look at this and be like, this is not what I signed up for. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
Jack Collins, Sirius XM, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Premier League returns tomorrow with Coventry playing away at the Emirates. Let me ask you, you had mentioned Chelsea already, but before we get to Chelsea, Liverpool won the league 2 years ago. It bought Arne Slot about half a season. Then the natives got restless, and there was an uproar. I know there were a lot of people who wanted him out like in January. I actually think Liverpool did the right thing. They were not playing very enthralling, enthralling style. And I became a fan during the Jurgen Klopp era. I am that fan you were kind of referring to. Fun. I mean, all out, super, enjoyable football to watch. We didn't see it last year. They've got a bunch of good players that really didn't play well or weren't healthy last year. Do they have enough not to challenge Arsenal, but to challenge for Europe?
Yeah, look, I think that pack behind Arsenal is going to be really interesting. I think that there's not loads between City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea. I think they're all in this kind of like chasing pack behind, and it's kind of anyone's guess who shakes out on the right-hand side of that. And look, they've all kind of changed managers in the last, 4 or 5 months anyway, and then you've got a couple of different things. Michael Carrick is the second longest-serving manager in the Big Six. He was appointed in January. We're in a state of unknown that we've never seen before, a state of chaos that we haven't seen before. But look, I really like Antonio Iraola, right? Like I love this new generation of Basque managers, but I love the way that Iraola plays attacking front foot football. I also love what he's done going into the club. He's gone in, he sat down with a lot of the fan channels. He said, like, you guys know more about this club than I do. Teach me. Let's do this together. And I think he's forming bonds in a way that Arne Slot never did. And this is it, because, you go from a manager like Jurgen Klopp, who is the kind of soul of personality and understood fundamentally what the football club was about. And actually, I think Arne Slot dealt with some very difficult situations with grace and with decorum, especially with the tragic passing of Diogo Jota. But when you kind of looked at what his relationship was with the fan base, it didn't really exist. And the more the results started to slip, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, the more Dutch he got. The more matter of fact he got with the situation. And, Liverpool fans are incredibly, deeply passionate people. Right, like I've never met a Scouser or a Liverpool fan who doesn't have that ingrained ability to, be head over heels for something and just be in love with a kind of lust for life. And I don't think that Arne Slot reflected that whatsoever. Whereas I think that if you kind of get Antonio Iraola on a good day, the passion he displays, the humility he's shown, and then also the football itself. Like, people in Anfield are going to love the way that Iraola plays. So even if the results don't work out the same way, and I don't think it's going to be completely smooth sailing for Liverpool, it's going to be very interesting to see kind of how this first period goes. I think it could be quite turbulent, but I think the way he's going to try and play will pander to the crowd, because even if you're not winning, at least you're kind of being entertained. And there is an aspect of that where I think the Liverpool fans now know that they're within that rebuild. The other thing, Adam, I would say on this quickly is that it's quite hard to revolutionize a team when the superstars are still there, right? So Mohamed Salah has now left the club. Like, Liverpool legend, absolutely no doubt about it. One of the greatest Premier League players we've ever seen. Like, all of the accolades that are given to Salah are truly deserved. Genuinely one of the absolute greats. But when you bring in a player like Florian Wirtz or an Alex Isak or even an Ekitike, I think they're there looking at it going, well, are we the new generation? Are they still hanging on to the old generation? How is this all balancing out in the same way? Now that Salah has gone, and look, it's still a gargantuan task to replace what Mo Salah brought to the table, almost impossible. But I do think that you're looking at this team now and going, well, Wirtz in the 10, that's where everything's going. Everything is working through Wirtz. I think we'll see serious step-ups from Wirtz and Isak, although, to be fair, he barely played last season, over the course of the campaign to come. And that's really important for Liverpool.
Jack Collins is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, real quick about Manchester United, and then I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions, and then we'll let you go. Manu, you mentioned Michael Carrick, who was appointed in January 2nd. That is hysterical to me. Second longest tenure in the Big Six. They made some, I think, very good additions. I love Yuri Tielemans in central midfield. I think that that will certainly help. What do you think? Are they deep enough? Because now they're going to have Europe, Champions League football. Are they deep enough? Do they have enough squad depth to do this?
They've started getting deep enough, I think. They're not there yet, but the addition of Baleba now means that there's 4 people in that midfield competing for 2 spaces, which I think is probably what you're looking for. They can maybe do with 1 more, but, the United tradition is also to bring through the youngsters and showcase their academy prospects as well. So maybe that's the 5th man who comes through, someone like a Toby Collier or whatever it is. I think that they're starting to look like they might have a couple of depth pieces, but I'm really worried for them at fullback. Like, I'm not sure what they're going to do at left back right now. It feels like they've been searching for one all summer. It felt like the problem position alongside midfield that they needed to address, and they just haven't addressed it. There's no one come in there. Luke Shaw, kind of pulled out a miracle last season by staying fit for the entire campaign. You're not banking on him on the evidence we have over the last 5 years that he's going to be able to maintain that again. You're definitely not banking on him being able to do it with European football as well. So they need to strengthen in a couple of key areas. I think that United are doing this the right way. Like, they're not gone for the superstar signings that they have done before and who have kind of fallen on their face. They've brought in some proven Premier League players who are going to kind of step in there with high upsides. Andre Santos, okay, maybe not quite proven yet, but a quality player with a big upside. Baleba coming back from a tricky campaign last year, but we know that he has phenomenal potential, and Tielemans for the right now. So I think that they're doing things in the right way, but they probably need 3 or 4 more pieces just to have the depth to carry this season through to the end that they would want it for.
All right, a little rapid fire, and then we'll let Jack Collins go. Give me a mid-table intruder that will push for, we'll say top 5, because top 5 maybe is a Champions League spot as well. A mid-table intruder that pushes for Europe.
It seems weird to put Aston Villa in this conversation, right? Because they've been there or thereabouts for the last few years. But I think that in Unai Emery, they have the best manager in the Premier League. They've had a fair bit of upheaval themselves, but there's quite an exciting blend of players in there, and bringing in Manzambi for Rodgers and Joao Gomes for Tielemans. It all feels quite interesting to me. So I would put Villa in that. But I think that also, and I hate saying this as a Fulham fan, keep an eye on Brentford. Like this, that hurts me to my core, to my soul. But they look red hot in pre-season. I don't think Igor Thiago will be as good as last year, but they look like they're getting goals from different areas that they didn't have last year. No upheaval, really. They've brought in a midfield monster in Sangare, who is absolutely phenomenal. And I think that they are just settled and ready to maybe kick on and find that European push. I really hope I'm wrong.
I'm in a Premier League pick, and we had Fulham and Brentford as a double points West London derby match a year ago. Are the 3 who came up headed right back down?
I think right now, as of right now, yes, that can change. I think Ipswich have done the best job of kind of looking at it and thinking, okay, what do we need to bring in here? Physicality in midfield, like high pressing ability on the wings, a little bit of creativity, but more physicality. I think the Ipswich are probably, I have them pegged as the best of the 3 thus far in terms of where they're getting to. But I think right now, unless there is a spiral, and the spiral could come from a Fulham. It could come from a Crystal Palace. It might come maybe from like a Newcastle United, although I'd be particularly surprised, or maybe a Sunderland having to do with Europe. But I think that unless something goes really badly wrong for one of those teams, or unless we have a late flurry in the transfer market from one of the promoted sides that really changes the picture, we're probably looking at maybe going back to 3 up, 3 down.
Jack Collins, Sirius XM, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, studs up. Fulhamish, if you are a Fulham fan, and I know a big Fulham fan who is in the higher-ups with the Carolina Hurricanes. Jack Collins, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I look forward to listening to the show. I'm going to have to come in later now because that you're now on later. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me, Adam. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
I'm sorry. I geeked out for a little bit. Appreciate Jack Collins from Sirius XM. I mentioned the Carolina Hurricanes. We talked a little bit about them with Ryan Henkel in our previous segment. So we're winding down days with the Cup. Like we are 1 month from today. We're back like there's a game.
Love it.
Panthers, Hurricanes, Greensboro. 1 month from today. Training camp's going to start in a few weeks. Guys are starting to trickle back into town. But we still have days with the Cup. And it was either today or yesterday, it was Brandon Bussey's turn with the Cup. So he was out on Long Island, and his goalie coach growing up, Ron Petronella, the New York Post caught up with him. He had his day with Brandon Bussey.
I've been training goaltenders for over 30 years on Long Island. I started training Brandon when he was about 12 years old, helped train him all the way from juniors to college into the pros. He was with the Boston Bruins for 2 years. When they released him last year, Carolina picked him up, and it was the greatest year in the world, winning the Stanley Cup. I just got off the private party boat with him, and we were able to celebrate and drink from the cup.
What was it like over there on the boat?
It was nice. It wasn't packed. It was only the people, family, friends, and coaches. So it was very personal and real nice. Got to spend a lot of time with him, the cup, and the people that have always been around him his whole life.
What was everyone drinking out of the cup?
We all drank out of the cup champagne.
Champagne?
Yep.
When did you realize that Brandon had pro potential?
It's a great question. When he was 16, I saw something in him that was very special. By the time he got to 21, I knew he did.
I believe it was Ron Petronella is his name. I believe he just said that Brandon has no friends.
Yeah.
It wasn't packed.
Threw that out there. I know. I did see that boat. It was a little small.
Yeah, it was great. It was not a lot of people. Like, because Brandon doesn't have any friends.
Right.
Look, I've seen, it's been a good summer for Brandon Bussey, right? Got married. I've seen all those photos. Can't wait to see him back in camp. When we talked to Ryan Henkel earlier, we asked, if you're Carolina, what are areas that you might address if you were using Alexander Nikishin in a trade? He brought up goaltending, and I've been saying this for months. I would not. I believe they have enough goaltending. Provided Bussey and Kochetkov stay healthy, they need another goalie because Kochetkov never stays healthy, and we don't have any real history except for 1 year with Brandon Bussey at the NHL level. He stayed healthy otherwise in his career, so they do need cover with a third potential National Hockey League goalie. But I'm very, very comfortable rolling with 32 and 52 for next year. Victoria, thank you very much. I'm not here tomorrow or Monday. And we'll see everybody.
Have a good long weekend.
Thank you very much. See everybody Tuesday.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Excuse me, you think you could spare a square?
Sorry, what?
A square on your smartphone.
Oh, yeah, for the 99.9 The Fan app.
Exactly. Listen to your favorite hosts, teams, and live sports action.
The Carolina Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. They won the 2026 Stanley Cup.
And every podcast episode at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere.
Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99